They were mowing grass near the fence, which was probably a cover to monitor the surroundings, just in case I try to escape from the school. But they must have been thinking that would happen only after school was over. They seemed to have no idea that I'd already noticed their plan and was trying to run away right from that very moment. I couldn't use the front gate since they'd find me easily. I moved behind the school building, made sure nobody was around the curry garden, ran through it, and dashed into the forest. I walked through the dense undergrowth, stepping on dead wood and climbing over fallen trees. After walking through the forest for a while, I came to a small road. I know many back roads in this village because of our club activities, and that knowledge had finally come in handy. So what should I do now? I'm sure the girl already passed on my message to Chia-sensei. Those men must be going crazy by now, knowing that I ran away. Everybody in class looked at each other and shook their heads. Chia-sensei looked a bit upset that Rena left school early without telling her in person.
でもレナさん、最近はいつも体調悪そうでございましたものね。みー。
レナ、カバンなんかも置きっぱなしだし、どうしちゃったんだろ
う。なんだか嫌な予感がするぜ。
They're all looking so upset. It's still crazy that like Mion still pulls off that pose the entire time. Anyway. I think I know what's going on. I'm not sure, but I have a very bad feeling about this. She must have taken another ridiculous story seriously or something. I hope she won't do anything crazy. I hurried home. Actually, let me double check the text one more time. I've talked about this before. I've tested it, before on stream, where I believe the text that was being used was a different color. And I think that's still happening. So last time it was like a darker shade of pink that was closer to peach in color. And now I think this is an even darker shade, just slightly darker. Because remember, we went from a bright poppy pink. Here, I'll give you an example in a sec. Because we went from this bright and poppy pink to what we have on screen now. So I'll get a quick like screenshot of this and show you what I mean. Okay. So like this. So on the right, yeah, is what the pink used to be. On the left is the current pink that we're seeing on screen, which again is more like it's already closer to red. Before it was more of a peach color, now it's much closer to red. So her text color has definitely changed. This is all, of course, very subtle changes to Rena's just like behavior, to her like probably her mental status. Pretty neat that like this is even a thing. Anyway, my father might be at his new job, or he might have gone shopping. He wasn't around when I got there. Now that they're on the move, I'm no longer safe in my house. They're very dangerous people. They're trained to be capable of attacking the Ministry of Construction, and they've actually pulled off the kidnapping of the grandson of the minister. Locked doors and windows don't mean anything to them. In fact, it'd be like I was hiding in a box which they could open up to get at me. I could no longer stay at my home. It's very sad and very frustrating. I killed Rina and Tepe, and finally regained a peaceful life with my father. How could this happen to me? I remembered what Keiichi told me before. It expressed my feelings better than anything. Why did she give me those terrifying scrapbooks? Why did she tell me the secret of that unthinkable conspiracy? She got me into this. I didn't do anything. It's all Mio's fault. But who was interested in her stories? I was. Who let her continue talking? I did. I did that out of curiosity. Who let the memories of Ibaraki return and told Mio about them? I did. I depended on Mio, hoping that she could somehow save me from the memories that I've been trying to forget. I shouldn't have remembered anything about that bizarre incident. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten involved in that unthinkable conspiracy, and I could have just played around with my friends today. But even if I didn't know about the conspiracy, it still continued behind the scenes. I would have been one of the member of the mob running in a panic, not knowing what's going on the day of Oyashiro-Sama's revival. I would have been just swallowed up in their conspiracy anyway. Would I be happier if I faced that day without knowing anything? Would I be happier if I struggled knowing about it but ending up swallowed by it? If I'm going to end up the same way no matter what I choose to do, I'll fight. I'll choose to fight. Because that's how I seized my happiness before. When Rina invaded my home, seduced my father, I felt like it was the end of the world. I lived on the verge of despair every day. I thought that was the worst misfortune that could befall anyone. But the way things are going, it wasn't really that bad at all. I had only 2 enemies, Rina Mamiya and Teppei Hojo. So here they are again. God, they look horrifying. Actually, I think we saw this like once. But God, this art style is just so fucking gross. Anyway. I knew my enemies, and I knew how many they were. I lured them out one by one, and I attacked them in the dark. It was a very easy problem to solve. But what about this one? I don't know who my enemies are, and I don't know how many or how strong they are. Even the people I once trusted might be my enemies. I can't possibly be sure. It's totally different from the previous problem. This might be the end of the world. This time, it really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. But is that really the case? With Rina, I felt like it was the end of the world, but I no longer think it was that bad. So, this might turn out to be an easy problem to solve in the end, and I might be able to laugh about it someday. I know that day will come. I know it for sure. So, I shouldn't think that this is the end of the world. Let's fight. I can fight. I can still struggle. I'd eat grass and drink mud if I needed to. I'm going to bet on the 1% chance even though it's unbelievably small. If Mio-san didn't leave me the scrapbooks, I wouldn't even have been able to sit at the table to bet. I was lucky that I received the scrapbooks because they gave me the chance to choose my future. If I don't fight, they'll spread the terrible parasite, and this village will face a great disaster. According to the legend, when the ogres first came out of the swamp, people became ogres right after being infected. And that happened while they were inside the village. These days, symptoms appear only when infected people leave the village, but that only applies to the later weak parasites. The original parasite can reenact the curse of Oyashiro-Sama, even when the infected are in the village. The legend of Oyashiro-Sama will be reborn. Humans and ogres will start killing each other, and Oyashiro-Sama, quote-unquote, will come down to pacify the disaster. That's what they want. They want people to prostrate themselves before that miracle, and only the people who truly worship Oyashiro-Sama will be saved. I see. I know their true intention now. They're going to reenact the legend of Oyashiro-Sama. After all, the villagers always say that Rika is his reincarnation. The stage is all set. They're going to use the parasite as the curse. So how are they going to make it look like Oyashiro-Sama came down to pacify everyone? I get it. They must have some kind of medicine, a specific cure for the parasite. When they recreated the stronger form of the parasite, they found a cure for it at the same time. They're going to use this cure to save only those who believe in Oyashiro-Sama, and as a result, this village will only have those fervent believers. They're going to make themselves the absolute rulers of Hinamizawa. Wait. I still might be underestimating them. Are they going to carry out that horrifying act of bioterrorism only inside of Hinamizawa? History proves that when their goal is to control others, people desire to spread their religion across a wide area. I'm sure that they conducted research not only to bring back the primitive form of the parasite, but also to overcome its weakness, namely that it only thrives in Hinamizawa. According to Mio's research, the parasite doesn't like its host to be far from the region. Its weakness is distance. If they could extend the distance, if they could extend the area where it can live. I wonder how far along their research is. By now, the parasite might be able to live not only in Hinamizawa, but in Okinomiya as well. Or maybe even in the city? Maybe the whole prefecture. It might be able to cover nearby prefectures as well. This is too serious to just call it a conspiracy. It's horrifying enough and its scale large enough to call it a revolution. The day of revival is probably not far off. I can tell by how they killed Mio and by the extent of their pressure they're putting on me. They're trying to get rid of the small fish bones stuck in their throat by any means because that day is coming ever closer. I'm the only one who can stand up against the revolution. I can't trust anybody. I think I can trust Keiichi, but no one else. Mi-chan is out of the question. I can't trust Rika either. Satoko and Rika stick together like superglue, so I can't trust Satoko either. I can't trust any adult. I can't trust anybody. No one is on my side. I have to stand up against them alone. The clock is ticking towards that day, and the ticking noise made me frustrated. How should I fight against them? What should I do? I needed time to think. I needed a place, a safe area, where I could concentrate on thinking. Fortunately, I had such an area already. Our secret place. My hideout at the garbage dump. Nobody ever goes there, so it's safe. Even if they found out about that place, I'm familiar with its surroundings. I know escape routes and places where I can hide. But it has a big shortcoming as a hiding place. It's not hard to imagine what that is. I don't have any stock of food there. That's why I came home. I opened one of my father's drawers and took out his cash box. The contents haven't changed since the last time I looked inside. There were many new 10,000 yen bills in the cash box. I took them all. I couldn't tell how many bills there actually were, but it looked to be about 80 of them. Oh my god. This should be... Are you sure? That's enough for like a down payment on a home? And then like your mortgage for I don't know how long. For a good while. In Japan, in this time period. God damn it, and that's it's 800,000 yen. Anyway, this should be plenty. If I evaded them long enough to use all of this money, that would mean that I did pretty well. Plus, I might use it to buy someone off. You can never have too much money, especially in a situation like this. I didn't take the bank book. If they were waiting in an ambush at the bank, I'd be done for. It's too risky to withdraw more money at the bank. I grabbed my backpack. I took the money for my bicycle. Took the key for my bicycle. I put everything I think would be convenient to have into the backpack. I didn't care if it got heavy. I'd choose what was necessary to carry around later at my hideout. If there ended up being something I didn't need, I could leave it there. Holy fuck. So Rena really is just... getting ready. I looked at the clock. It had been 30 minutes since I came home. I stayed here way too long. I rushed out of the house. I went to a small convenience store and bought as much sweet bread and canned food as I could fit in my backpack. An old lady was at the register, probably suffering from dementia. She showed no interest in the extraordinary amount of food I was buying, but as soon as the manager of the store checked the sales that night, he'd find out. The idea didn't bother me, because I could no longer walk around the village in the daylight anyway. My backpack was full, and the cans hurt my back as I walked, but that didn't bother me either. I got to my hideout still carrying the heavy backpack. I organized the stuff that I bought. It was very heavy to carry, but now I had sufficient food. The abandoned construction office was still has running water, so I could get some from there. I'd wanted to get some vegetables, but in a situation like this, I could hardly complain. After I organized things, I took out the scrapbooks and hid here, and put my brain into top gear flipping through the pages. So, now what? How am I going to stand up against this gigantic conspiracy? I needed to calm down, stay cool, but also to think fast. There might not be a lot of time, so I'd have to hurry, but I don't know what to do. It's easy to run to school in the morning when I oversleep. It's easy because I know where I should go. 1 second. But now, I don't know where I should go or what I should do. Now that I've come to this point, I should tell Oishi-san everything. It's highly likely he's an enemy, but that doesn't matter anymore. If it's true, I'd just declare war. But if he was on my side, he'd be my only remaining hope. I'm far too weak to stand alone against the terrifying scale of this conspiracy, poised to instill fear throughout Japan. I'd have to use a public phone to make the call. There's only one public phone in this village that stands at a place where it's hard for people to spot you. The phone, that phone booth. It stands in the middle of nowhere when nobody really comes around. Many bugs gather around the light when it's dark, and it's not a pleasant place to go to. Was this the place where Asakusa made his call, or was that a different place? No, that was a different place, now that I think about it. But I can't think of any other public phones I can use to contact Oishi-san without being seen. Even though it stands in the middle of nowhere, it's still dangerous to use in the daylight. I should wait until nightfall and take advantage of the darkness. I heard that Oishi-san had been holed up in his station since Mio's murder case, so I should be able to reach him any time. I have the number for the direct line to his office too. The sky was still bright. Even though I had no time, I still had to wait for it to get dark. Frustrated, I glared at the sunset. I should find something to do. I couldn't waste any time that I had, so there must be something to do. After I thought about what I could do, I found that there was something I wanted to confirm. Something I've been worried about. I couldn't do anything else before it got dark anyway. Staying here doing nothing would just make me more frustrated. I made my decision and left the hideout. Rena's father paced up and down restlessly in front of his house. Hold on, is this text white or is it like a very light blue? Let me double check. No, from a I think with the background or some, I don't know. It looks like it's a light blue, but it's not. It's pure white. A bicycle appeared, its rider ringing the bell. A police officer from the Hinamizawa police station had shown up. Having rushed to get there, he was breathing hard.
お待たせしました。状況をお伺いします。確かに施錠して出て行ったんです。そうしたら、まず家の扉が開きっぱなしになってまして。
He led the police officer into the house.
それで、私の部屋の手提げ金庫がまんまとやられまして。ご主人、これはその時のまま?
Kinko. I know Kin? Shit, was Kin gold or was it silver? Fuck, I forget. Because there's a manga called Gin to Kin. And it means, I believe it was gold to silver. Well, anyway, so I assume like cash box would be like, you know, my box of gold in Japanese. Anyway, I could probably confirm later.
触ってない?ええ。犯人の指紋とかあるだろうと思いまして、金庫には触れてません。ただ中身を確認したので、中のものには少し触れています。それで、取られたものは?貯金通帳と印鑑は大丈夫だったんですが、中に入ってた現金を全部。通帳と印鑑、大丈夫だったんですか?そりゃあ不幸中の幸いでしたね。最近は通帳から足がつくと思って、プロは現金しか持ってかないんですよね。こりゃあだいぶ手慣れた空き巣かな。金庫ごと持ってかないで、この場で開けちゃうってんだから、相当のプロだね。で、お金はどのくらいやられちゃって?ちょっと数えてなかったんですが、多分1万円札で100枚近くはあったと思います。そう。それだけの現金が入ってることを誰かに知らせた?いえ、誰にも知らせてはいませんが。あの女たちならこの家に金があることを知っていたかも。あの女?ちょっとお話を聞かせていただけますか?実はあまりみっともいい話じゃないんでお恥ずかしいんですが、間宮里奈という女とですね。
Just then, the phone rang.
すみません、ちょっと出てきますね。すぐ戻ります。
He grabbed the phone.
はい、竜宮です。
And like I mentioned this last part, but if you didn't know, this is a rotary phone. A rotary phone compared to just the other ones that are where you push a button in. I know it feels weird for some people that I have to like explain this, but there are people that have literally never seen this before in their lives. But anyway, this is the phone that we're talking about last stream.
すみません。前原と申しますが、レナさんはいらっしゃいますか?
レーナはまだ帰ってきてません。
まだ帰ってない?
いや、申し訳ないんですが、ちょっと今立て込んでます。遊びの電話でしたら、またかけ直していただけますかね。申し訳ないですね。失礼いたします。
He hung up after that. Let me check. I think this is actually a darker color now, but I'm not sure. My eyes might be playing tricks on me. It is. It is a darker color. Here, give me 1 sec. So, I'll organize it like this. So, hold on. And then this current color. My god, it's definitely something. 1 sec. Okay. So, comparing the colors themselves from the original pink that we had to the kind of like more peachy color that we had before earlier this chapter to today, to right now, I mean, these are the 3 different types of colors that we've seen so far for Rena's text. So, like I said, before it used to be this very bright pink on the left. In the middle is what we had literally like 10 minutes ago. And then right now it's a much darker red. It's a more noticeable red. So Rena is definitely losing it, probably. I was stunned. It didn't look like anything had changed on the surface. It was hard to find this place at all because it perfectly blends in with the surroundings. I only found this place again because I remembered there was a tree with a big lump of wood on it. On it nearby, sorry. The spot where I buried the corpses was perfectly camouflaged, as if nothing had happened. That's why, at first, I thought I came to the wrong place. But I could make certain once I stick a shovel in the ground. I should be able to tell right away whether this place was dug up before or not. After several false starts, I found the exact spot where I buried the corpses. But the biggest problem of all is that there are no bags in there at all. Why? How come? Did I bury them deeper than this? No, I didn't. I remember exactly how deep I buried them. I know I didn't bury them deeper than this. I wasn't expecting this. I came here to check the corpses. I just wanted to do that to kill some time. I didn't want to stay in my hideout doing nothing, so I came here to check if the corpses I buried were still there. I'd make sure that they were still there, and I'd feel relieved. It was supposed to go like that. This was such an unexpected turn of events that I broke out into a cold sweat. What's going on? What's going on? I don't need to calm down to think about what happened. Corpses can't come back to life and crawl out of the ground. Someone must have dug them out. Who did it, and for what purpose? Did anyone happen to see us burying the corpses here, and did they dig them out after we left? What if they handed them over to the police? No, it can't be. It's been quite a while since the day we buried them here. It was before the Watanagashi festival. So if the police did find the corpses when Oishi-san contacted me, he had to know about Rina and Teppei, but he didn't tell me anything about them. I don't think he was hiding anything on purpose either. So that means the police don't know about Rina and Teppei yet. Then why are the corpses gone? That would leave only one answer. Who knows about this place? One of us came back here, dug out the bags, and took them away. The first person who comes to mind is Mion. That's what I was thinking. I mean, the Sonozuki family. But I can't think of any reason why they would do that. The murder of Rina and Teppei had nothing to do with them. I'm sure they don't want to get involved either, let alone be falsely accused. They must have wanted to stay as far away from this case as possible. Why would they want to keep the corpses? It's like keeping a Joker, even though you'll lose if you have the Joker by the end of the game. If I was Michan, what would I do? What would I do if I was the club president? The Joker is a card that you want to get rid of, at least in the game I mentioned earlier, but it becomes a powerful card in other games. What kind of game would that be? An electric shock ran through my spine. At the same time I realized it. They are one step ahead of me. The Sonozuki family got the corpses to use them as a Joker, as a wild card. They're trying to use them to sell me out to the police. The Sonozuki family is trying to kill me just using their death squad, but they want to have insurance just in case they fail. The thing they're afraid of the most is that I might work together with the police. If they could prevent that from happening, I'd have no one to work with. If that happens, I can no longer run away from them. I'd still be a fish in their pond. They're going to use the corpses to sell me out to the police for the murder of Irina and Teppei. If the police started seeing me as a suspect, they'd never listen to my story. They could have been my last hope, but this will certainly turn them against me. But I'm sure the Sonosuke family doesn't want to use their Joker unless absolutely necessary. After all, Mio and Sonosuke helped bury the corpses. Plus, they don't want the police to hover around Hinamizawa when the day of the revival is so close. I'm going to call Oishi tonight and I'm going to ask him for help. I'm going to tell him everything, including the things I haven't told Keiichi. I don't know if Oishi will believe me. This is a gamble, and my chance of winning is very small. Plus, my worst enemy has the Joker, the bags with the corpses inside. I'm impressed with Mion. That's just what I'd expect from the leader of our club. This is a battle that I'm betting my life on. But Mion, this is like a board game, taking place across Hinamizawa itself. I grinned, repeating to myself that it's just a game. I put my life on the line for every club activity we do, because I don't want to suffer the punishment. This time, that's become the literal truth. There could be only one reason why they're trying so hard to drive me into a corner. It's because they're afraid of me. I assumed I was just a little girl with no power, running about in confusion. But my enemy must not be thinking that way. If they didn't think I was a threat to them, they wouldn't have taken a risk like this to drive me into a corner. That means the scrapbooks Mio left me must be way more dangerous to them than I think they are. I see. They have a Joker, but so do I. The Joker I have is so deadly and so powerful that it can break their plot into pieces. That's why they're so eager to find me. A cornered mouse really can bite a cat. I felt my fear towards my enemy fade away all of a sudden. Just as I fear them, so do they fear me too. So this is an evenly matched game. I don't have as bad a hand as I thought I did. God. I was right to come here. I found out about the card my enemy was holding. This is a big deal. I felt myself shiver with excitement. I grinned to encourage myself. I don't need to be here any longer. They know this place. They might come to find me. They might come here to find me. It's not safe for me to stay here for long. I decided to go back to my hideout. On the way back, I passed close to my house. I noticed something different right away. I hid behind a bush and looked at the front gate to my house. My father was talking to a police officer. I strained to catch their conversation.
はい。いつもはそこに止めてあるはずなんです。
My father pointed to the place where I usually parked my bicycle.
わかりました。もしお嬢さんが帰られましたらご連絡をください。こちらの方でも探してみます。
Mi-chan, you're good. Did you already play your Joker? Mion always starts a battle by attacking without hesitation and wins. It seems like the police are already after me. My chance of being able to explain the conspiracy to Oishi was already small, but this makes it even smaller. No. That's why I'm going to talk to Oishi. He sees the Sonosuke family as his enemy, and he's trying to expose everything about them before his retirement. That's why he'll be on my side. He's not going to fall for their trick. Of course, there's a very high possibility that everything was part of their trap from the very beginning. It's possible that he claimed the Sonosuke family was his enemy in order to make me believe that he's on my side. But their Joker is actually giving me hope. If Oishi is one of them, it would be too early to play their Joker. Oishi isn't one of them. And that's why they got the Joker, so they can play it before I go to the police. No, wait. That might be a trick to make me think that way in order to make me trust Oishi. She's going through so many leaps in logic. And I mean, I get it. I sometimes go through the same leaps that Rena does. Like, what she's going through right now, I usually have... Like, that's my normal train of thought. I usually think of, like, 10 or 15 steps ahead of, like, whatever situation I'm in. Like, literally anything, even mundane stuff. And it can get a little overwhelming. So I can imagine, like, what Rena is going through perfectly. Mion, after all, likes to guess people's intentions in order to confuse them. So when you think about a choice too much, you're already in her trap. I'm going to do as I planned. I'm going to call Oishi after it gets dark. If he's going to become my ally, we can talk about the future. And if he isn't, that, I realized, was what I had to think about before it got dark. Oh boy.
時間のことは気にしないでくださいよ。残業代はついちゃいませんが、ちゃんと勤務中ですので。
I started the conversation with an ordinary greeting to try to gauge his reaction. There's a 50-50 chance that Oishi is one of them. If he's their pawn, he'll either lure me out somewhere so he can arrest me, or he'll ask me where the scrapbooks are. But even if he didn't, that wouldn't prove anything. It's going to be difficult to determine if he's on my side or not, and I'd have to tell him about the scrapbooks no matter what. My heart's beating very fast. Even if I was sure that Oishi isn't their pawn, I'd still have to make him believe such a crazy story. And I'd have to do that over the phone. Worrying wouldn't do anything for me. This is, I know, a gamble, but I have a small chance of winning. If I didn't put my chips on the table, the game wouldn't even start.
以前も少し話しましたが、やっぱり私、何者かに狙われてるみたいです。
それは本当ですか？
ええ。以前までは、ひょっとすると気のせいかもしれないと思う程度だったのですが、昨日あたりから間違いないと思うレベルになりました。
間違いないレベルと言いますと？
数台の車が私の身辺を伺っているようなんです。うちの1台は白いワゴン車で、造園屋に偽装した4人の特攻隊と思われる人間が乗っています。
特攻隊というと、園崎家の暗殺部隊の？
はい。おそらくそうに違いないと思います。今日、学校にまで詰めかけてきました。あわやのところで逃れましたが、危ないところでした。し
かし、なんだって急に。まさか、竜宮さんが富武殺しについて嗅ぎ回っているとでも思い込んだんですかね。
Oishi hadn't mentioned the scrapbooks yet. It sounded rather unnatural to beat around the bush like that by mentioning Tomitake's murder. But as I haven't told him about the scrapbooks, it could be a legitimate reaction.
実はですね、ついさっき嫌な話を耳にしました。もうちょっとちゃんと調べてからお耳に入れたかったのですが、お互い新情報を知ったら伝える約束です。ですので、とりあえずお話しておきます。実は、沖宮の園崎組で悪い動きがあるらしいんです。
園崎組で悪い動きですか？
ええ。ちょっとショックな話かもしれません。実は、若い衆に人探しを命じているという話なんですがね。
人探し？
My heart stopped for a moment upon hearing that. Are they?
私もにわかには信じられません。探しているのはあなたらしいんですよ。竜宮レナを探させているそうなんです。まだ仕入れたばかりの情報なんで何が狙いかはつかめていませんが、あなたの名前が出ていることだけは間違いありません。
So, listening to this, you might be led to believe that what Oishi is saying is the truth. Now, do remember, we have to take anything Oishi says with a grain of salt. Oishi will kind of slime his way through, I don't know, just interactions with people that he's trying to get info out of, and he'll just lie and see how they react. Just like how Rena is kind of seeing how he'll react with certain information that she brings up. And I believe one of those major hints is what he just said. You can barely see it there, but it says Rena Ryugu, or Ryugu Rena, is what he mentioned. Her name is not Rena. Her name is Reina. And that's the name that, like, anyone that isn't a close friend of Rena would address her by. He specifically mentioned they're looking for you, Ryugu Rena. Now, that could be him being quote-unquote familiar with Rena, and so he can call Rena Rena instead of Reina, but it could also just be a lie, because again, the Sonozaki, if the Sonozaki forces are looking for her, they would know her as Reina Ryugu. People in Hinamizawa, if I recall, call her Reina. They don't call her Rena. It's only those close acquaintances, her friend group, the club members, who call her Irena. Even her father still calls her Irena, because that's her name. But anyway, that's just something to keep in the back of your head.
私が身に危険を感じ始めているという話、信じてもらえますか？
ねえ、互いの話がきれいに一致します。リグさん、これはどういうことですか？お心当たりは？
So there it is. So he set out he cast his line, hey, they're looking for a Ryugu Rena. And now he's waiting for her to bite. Will she reveal that she has the scrapbooks? I assume that's what, this whole confrontation is going to be for. We'll find out. What they're actually looking for are the scrapbooks I have. They'd want to know where they are, and they believe that I'm hiding them. They must be thinking that they'll be able to hide the information in the scrapbook forever if they succeed in shutting my mouth. But I couldn't tell Oishi about that yet. I answered his question by asking him a question.
大石さんの方で何かわかりませんか？私には全然どうしてだか。
Don't you know that it's rude to answer a question with a question, Rena? What are you doing?
私だってわかりません。園崎組があなたという個人を狙って動くなんて考えられない。でも事実なんです。信頼できる筋から得た情報で紛れはありません。
園崎組が私に関心があるのではなく、園崎本家が私に関心があるというのはどうですか？
こういった動きはめったに見せるものではありません。例えば組の上納金の持ち逃げがあったとか、そういうトラブルがあった時にはこういう騒ぎもあったりします。でもそれは大抵組関係の業界の話で、仇である個人が対象となるなんて前例がありません。
私がその貴重な一例目であるのは嬉しいですが、前例がないで済まされちゃこっちはたまらないです。
まあリュウグウさん、落ち着いて落ち着いて。今度はリュウグウさんが話す番じゃないんですか？
I've told you something important. Now how about you?
何をですか？
リュウグウさん、園崎組がこういう動きを見せることはおいそれとあることじゃありません。何かの誤解にしたってなかなかあることじゃない。心当たりはありませんか？リュウグウさんにとっては何気ない何かが彼らを誤解させている可能性もあります。私の読みでは連中、あなたが園崎本家周辺を嗅ぎ回っていて、何かとんでもない事実を掴んだ。もしくはそれはリュウグウさんが日々の生活でしてしまうような些細なものじゃない。もっと目立つ何かです。本当に心当たりはありませんか？
Is he my ally or my enemy? I still can't figure it out. This is it. Make your decision, Rena.
私がミオさんのスクラップ帳を預かっているからだと思います。
ミオさん、高野ミオのスクラップ帳ですか。そいつは一体。
If he was my enemy, he wouldn't be able to hide his excitement. But his voice remained steady, and it didn't sound unusual when he said the word scrapbooks.
はい。実は私、ミオさんが殺される数日前に彼女と図書館で出会って。
Ah, so you know she was murdered.
その時に意気投合して、彼女に研究をまとめたスクラップ帳を数冊預けられたんです。
研究をまとめた？
はい。ミオさんはひなみ沢村の歴史について深く研究していたんです。そしてそれらを数冊のスクラップ帳にまとめていました。奴らはミオさんを殺した時、スクラップ帳が何冊か足りないのに気づき、それを私に託していたことを気づいたのだと思います。
奴らの狙いはスクラップ帳？ リグさん、それは一体何なんですか？
ひなみ沢がかつて鬼ヶ淵村と呼ばれていた太古の昔についての研究をまとめたものです。お社様信仰の発祥について書かれています。
お社様信仰。人食い鬼の末裔が仙人になってっていう？
ええ。ミオさんはその研究の中でお社様信仰についてのある重大な秘密を暴いたんです。その研究結果はお社様を神聖であると崇める人たちにとっては極めて冒涜的な内容でした。
なるほどなるほど。信仰の特に盲信的な連中にはその研究の存在が許せなかった。
Oishi was taking notes. I could hear him writing something while we spoke.
彼らはミオさんを消し、そのミオさんが残したスクラップ帳も葬ろうとしているんです。最初のうちは私が持っているのかどうか分かりかねているようだったんですが、昨日を境に疑わしきは殺せという方針に変わったように感じています。
なるほど。そりゃ好ましい状況ではありませんね。あなたの身辺を警戒させましょう。あとそのスクラップ帳を拝見させてください。高野殺しの何かの手がかりになるかもしれない。
あ、いえ、警察の内部にも奴らの手先が混じっている可能性が高いです。ですから身辺の警戒は結構です。自分の身は自分で守ります。あとスクラップ帳も同じです。彼らはそれを抹消しようとするでしょう。たとえ警察の中であっても。
園崎組があなた一人をターゲットに動いている以上、もしこれが園崎本家の頂上からの指令なら、その可能性は確かにありますね。園崎本家が敵だった場合、悔しいですが私たちの中にも内通者がいないとは限りません。
Right. And we learned in chapter 4 that they definitely have moles in the police department.
そういうことです。
And the FBI. The feds in Japan.
ですから私のことは気にしないでください。それよりお願いがあります。とてもとても重要なお願いです。
言ってください。何ですか？
ミオさんの研究によるならば、今ひなみ沢の闇に恐ろしい陰謀があり、それが遠くないうちに実行されそうなんです。
陰謀？それは一体何です？
I got tense all of a sudden. If I tell him everything, it's going to sound like a big lie. I should leave out the bizarre sounding parts for now. It'd actually make the story more credible.
奴らの正体はお社様信仰の狂信者たちです。奴らは明治以降すっかり下火になってしまったお社様信仰と意向を取り戻し、太古の鬼ヶ淵村の時代のような厳格な信仰を復活させようとしているんです。
続けてください。メモしてます。
ミオさんの研究によると、お社様伝説の根底には大昔のある風土病の存在があるんです。その風土病の猛威がお社様のたたりと恐れられ、それを治療できる医者的存在がお社様と崇められ、村を支配した。
そうだったんですか。なるほど。続けて。
Do you remember? Irena is saying all of this while standing in the middle of like an abandoned, like just an empty road with a payphone, with a very dim light on top of it. Like I assume a flickering light at the top of the phone booth itself. This is fucking terrifying. And also, hey Lethal Kate, thanks for stopping by over on the kick side.
その
Anyway.
風土病は土着のある特殊な寄生虫によるものだったんです。ですが長い世代を繰り返すうちに徐々に無害になっていき、彼らにとって風土病が無害ではお社様のたたりがなく、だからお社様の神聖性が保てないわけです。
それを復活させようとしたら、それはつまり 風土病を蘇らせるということを意味するわけですかな。
そうです。奴らはお社様伝説をゼロからもう一度やり直し、そのため古代の強力な風土病を再発させる原始の寄生虫を研究していたと思われます。
Hold on. I think she fucked up here. Yeah. Yeah, she did. Because before she mentioned it was an endemic disease, and now she mentioned a parasite.
連続開始事件の正体はこの研究
So
結
she
果
might
を
have
試す
fucked
も
up.
のだったんです。そして富武さんに対して古文書に残る氏脇病を再現できた。奴らは5年かけて原始の力を持つ寄生虫を復活させたんです。
なんてこった。
奴らの最終的な目的はその寄生虫をばらまき、お社様に帰依する者のみを特効薬で救い、お社様信者のみの楽園を作ろうとしているんです。
それは間違いなく事実でしょうね。
このスクラップ帳にはその寄生虫がひなみ沢の人間のほぼ全員に寄生している事実が書かれています。医学的根拠に基づいていて、その寄生を間違いなく裏付けます。
信じられない。お寮のババアめ、ほっときゃいつでもお迎えが来るだろうに。自分一人じゃ三千の川一つ渡らないのか。こいつは無差別テロだぞ。なんてこった。
I know it's a serious scene, but like, Jesus fuck. That's such a funny line. Oryu's on death's door already, yet she can't cross the Styx on her own, so she needs to bring everyone with her.
本来の寄生虫はひなみ沢一帯にしか適用できませんでしたが、彼らはその競技の傾向からより広域にわたって寄生虫が環境適応できるよう改良を加えている可能性が高いです。ひなみ沢だけにとどまらない。沖宮を飲み込むか、市内全域に及ぶか、県全体にまで及ぶか。
くそったり。どうすりゃいいんだ、くそ。首謀者は誰です？
ひなみ沢御三家。おそらくは園崎家の当主でしょう。ただしお寮が主会なのか、お寮すらも駒なのかは分かりません。私には奴らを奴らと呼ぶことしかできない。その規模も全く分からないんです。
その研究がどこで行われているか分かりますか？そこを押さえます。
それはこのスクラップ帳にも書かれていません。大石さんの方で見当はつきませんか？
そんな寄生虫だのなんだのの研究をしてるってことはかなりしっかりした施設でしょうな。
Wait, hold on. Did I miss something? No. Okay, okay. Sorry. I thought I misremembered something that I just read.
40ぐらいならガレージを改造して秘密工場にもできるだろうが、寄生虫じゃそうはいかないでしょう。
ミオさんは入江診療所に勤めている看護師でした。入江診療所が怪しいということはありませんか？ひなみ沢の規模から見て立派すぎるのが前から不審だと思っていました。
はあ、入江診療所か。
My god. And like the way Oishi is talking, I'm half thinking that he doesn't believe her, and I'm half thinking that he does, sort of. Because of the way that he's always spoken to other individuals. Like when Keiichi was telling him whatever he thought, Oishi would be like, aha, and so on and so forth. So it's, something. It's quite something. They need a specially designed facility with advanced, airtight containment among other considerations, to be able to do research on dangerous parasites like this one. It's easy to equate suspicious research with a clinic facility, but it also sounds too easy and a little cliché. At first I thought they converted part of the clinic into a secret research center, but that actually sounds a little too
とに
unrealistic.
かくそれがどこかは分かりません。それはどうか大石さんの方で調べてください。怪しげなところを片っ端から調べられないんですか？
ご存知の通り、警察は強制捜査には令状ってもんが必要です。そりゃ後付けで取ることもできますがね。間違いなくそこだという決定的な証拠があった時の話です。
Oishi is a police officer. If he's going to work as a police officer, he has to follow their
でも
rules.
大掛かりな細菌テロが計画されているのだけは事実なんです。しかもミオさんの殺し方の請求さから見て、私は彼らが実行に移す X デーが近いような気がしてなりません。
わかりましたわかりました。こちらの方でも何とかしています。そんなとんでもない計画なら、その先本家も一枚岩ってわけにはいかないでしょう。必ずどこかに胸中で反対している人間がいるはずです。そういう人物と接触できないか、こちらでも探してみます。任せてください。こういうのは私の得意とするところですよ。
Oishi laughed to try to cheer me up. I was upset with the work of the police before, but Oishi's positive reaction is very reliable. He's what you might call an outlaw. Oishi's greatest advantage to me is that he doesn't exactly play by the rules. It's very encouraging that he has that kind of skill, especially since we have to act both very quickly and without conclusive evidence. The police normally investigate incidents after they've happened, but that doesn't work in this case. If this incident actually does occur, it's going to be a big disaster.
ミオさんはなんて恐ろしい陰謀を暴いたんだろうと恐ろしくなります。
気の毒な最後でした。岐阜の山中でドラム缶の中でこんがりでしてね、気の毒なことです。そういえばちょいと彼女のことで変わった話がありましてね。
変わった話ですか？
That they took her teeth out or something?
最初何か事件に関係があるのかなって思ってたんですがね、今のとてつもない陰謀の話に比べたらさまつな話です。多分鑑識のちょっとしたミスでしょう。
いえ、聞かせてください。そういう約束じゃなかったですか？
いえ、隠すつもりなんかありません。ただちょいと夏向きな話だったもんで。リュウさん、綿流しの晩を覚えてますか？あの晩の祭りの終わった後です。あなたの仲良し5人組と富武、高野の7人で談笑してますよね。
談笑というほどではありませんでしたが、少し話をしたような気がします。
いえ、実はですね、高野の遺体が見つかったのはその晩なわけですが、岐阜県警さんの鑑識では死後24時間以上って出ちゃったらしいって噂があるんです。でもそれだと話がおかしい。あの祭りの前の晩には殺されていることになる。
Right. I almost forgot about this little detail. I believe Oishi mentioned this at the end of Watanagashi in Chapter 2 to Keiichi. Something along those lines. Because he was like, hey, like, you said Mion stabbed you, but we found Mion's corpse in the well. And then the only person that was remaining was Shion, who was, dead in her balcony. Like, she fell from her balcony, so she couldn't have killed you. Or stabbed you, it couldn't have been her. Also, Takano was dead before we found her. We found her burnt corpse, but apparently she was dead 24 hours before, we found it. Which is really, really, really crazy. And I still have no idea how they did this.
殺されてることになる。
I'm confused. If she was found dead on the night of the Watanagashi, and she had been dead for 24 hours, that means...
早い話が、綿流しの日には高野はもう死んでることになるんですよ。だからあの祭りの晩に会った彼女は実はゾンビだったのかななんてね。まああちらの鑑識のちょいとしたポカでしょ
Right, a zombie. I felt my brain freezing over. Oishi laughed, saying that it sounded like a horror story from summer camp. But actually, the fact that Mio-san's time of death was off backed up her incredulous theories. I haven't mentioned this one to Oishi or Keiichi. If I did, they'd start to doubt everything else I've said. That's how absolutely unbelievable this theory is. At any rate, the mismatch with the time of Mio's death means a lot. What irony. Mio came up with a theory, and she proved it correct with her own life. No, not yet. This doesn't prove anything yet. If her theory is true, it might happen again. There's no way. It can't be true. I still can't believe it. But Oishi just said it. He said Mio was already dead on the night of the festival. It means that Mio, who was walking arm in arm with Tomitake on that night, wasn't Mio. Mio was already dead, so that wasn't her. That means she was... I felt a new sensation. One I've never felt before in my life. It wasn't an ordinary kind of dread. It was fear of the truth. No fear is worse than the fear of accepting a truth you don't want to believe. Compared to this fear, the fear of being stalked by the Sonozaki family or being burned alive in an oil drum looks silly. That's how deep of a fear I felt. And I felt it crawling all over my body.
リグさん、悪いことは言いません。警察が信用できないお気持ちもわかります。園崎本家は市内全域を牛耳っていますからね。署にも園崎家の御用聞きみたいな連中がいますし、それでも今のあなたは危険だ。
Yeah, it's definitely a super crazy, situation.
それで、私個人を信用してはくれませんか？私以外の誰も知らないところにあなたをかくまいます。私をどうか信用してください。
I don't doubt Oishi at this point. I actually think he's very reliable. I would have said yes without a second thought, but the situation has drastically changed. If Mio's death backs up this unbelievable truth, I trust Oishi. I believe he'll find the enemy and take them down, but I'd rather protect myself on my own than let someone else do it. If the unbelievable truth is real, then I couldn't trust anybody except myself. No, even myself might appear before me too.
本当にありがとうございます。
Huh? Even myself might appear before me as well. Even myself. Fuck does that mean?
とにかく奴らの研究所を突き止めて、なんとか陰謀を食い止めてください。私はしばらく身を潜めます。また連絡しますね。
I noticed I'd been on the phone too long. I've been using this phone booth with a light in the middle of the darkness. In other words, I've been telling everybody I'm here. Exactly.
もしもし、もしもし。
She hung up. Oishi wanted to talk more. He clicked his tongue and put the phone down. His junior, Kumagai, rushed into the room.
おいさん、やっぱりヤバそうな山っす。竜宮レナを探させているのは園崎組笠井達義。
Sai. So, I was actually thinking about this a bit ago. What if... Oh no. Okay. So my original thought was... How do I even word this? Hold on. Let me think for a bit on how to piece this together. But... okay. So, if Kasai is the one who put the hit out on Rena, it can be for one of two things, or one of two reasons. Because I was gonna mention this at the start of the chapter. Like, didn't Rena say she wanted to meet with Kasai at some point? What happened? Like, where'd he go? Did she ever meet with him? Because if you remember, she told Mion, hey, can you tell Kasai I want to meet with him? He dropped something and I want to give it back to him in person. Right? That could be taken one of two ways. One is, I have the pimp that works for you and his whore, which is Teppei and Rina, or I have the scrapbooks, assuming Kasai knows about them. It could be one of those two. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, let's move on.
葛西園崎茜の懐刀じゃないですか。
Tatsuyoshi Kasai was a pretty high-ranked big shot, even amongst the boss's younger brothers. He used to be the boss of a subordinate branch, but after suffering a bad injury during a gang war, he stepped down and now he serves as the boss's aide. Akane Sonozaki relies especially on him, and as her right-hand man, he's still feared even now. When Kasai moves, other gangs consider it a declaration of war. They fear him very much. He's a warrior among warriors. He's been lying low these days, but he's led countless numbers of gang wars. He was also the leader of the professional attack squadron that went to the US to receive military training during the damn conflict. Okay, so now it's been confirmed that this was actually real. I didn't believe that this could have fucking happened. But yeah, seems like he actually went they actually went to the US to fucking be trained in special ops, which still doesn't make sense. But anyway, they were crazy enough to think of attacking the Ministry of Construction for real.
情報や界隈でも相当な騒ぎになってるようです。竜宮レナが園崎組にとって相当都合の悪いものを握ってるんじゃないかともっぱらの噂です。
情報屋の皆さんもさすがに勘がいいですね。こりゃとんでもない山になってきたぞ。
This happened right after like Irena hung up, which is really funny.
佐藤さんは例の建設省とお寮の秘密交渉テープじゃないかって見てるみたいっす。
Oh?
だとすれば人が死ぬ騒ぎになるっすよ。
Oh god. This is more serious than that, Oishi thought. Yeah, so holy fuck. So this is such a convoluted mess. So Irena thinks that there's a giant conspiracy going on in Hinamizawa. She thinks that she's being pursued by members of the Sonozaki family because she knows about their secret conspiracy, which is like, hey, we want to seize power in the village by infecting everyone with a parasite, killing those that don't care, and only keeping those that are true believers alive, right? Then you have what's going on in Okinomiya, which is Kasai was told by Mion, hey, I've got something of yours, you dropped it. Which could be taken as a sign of war, it could be taken as blackmail, it could be taken as anything, as a sign of anything. And this dude knows how important it is for the Sonozaki family, and he's not going to stop at anything until he fucking gets rid of this girl that's threatening him. Because she can go to the police, she can go to the government, she can go to whatever and expose the Sonozaki family, which will then, you know, lead to all of them being arrested, especially if it's some secret tape between the literally audio and the Ministry of Construction, like if they had some secret meeting where they were conspiring together or something. This is so fucking insane. It's like, imagine a balloon inflating more and more with each crazy thing that I just said, and it's like about to burst. If her story is true, this is a massive conspiracy. It's going to cause more than quite a few deaths. It might destroy the entire village or even the entire prefecture. This is going to be the biggest terrorist strike in history.
レナ、やばいですよ。クマちゃん、覆面パトを竜宮家に貼り付かせてください。本日付で竜宮レナから暴力団組織に脅迫を受けている訴えがあったため身辺警護ってことにします。ガジオには後で私から話します。
いえ、実は竜宮レナは自宅を出ているらしいです。駐在所からの連絡ではどうも家の金を何十万か盗んで雲隠れしているらしいんです。それから竜宮家の前には園崎組の車が1台張り付いているという連絡が。
バッカ野郎。なんでそいつは早く言わないんだ。竜宮レナは相当高度に狙われてるぞ。さっきの電話は家じゃなかったんだ。竜宮レナを至急保護します。車回せ。家の前に張り付いてる野郎を締め上げろ。おい、我がの何か来い。おっす。
え？レナさんが家にいない？この時間に？
はい。しばらく家の前で待たせていただきましたが、戻られる気配がなかったもので一度引き上げました。
誰かの家に遊びに行ってるとかじゃない？案外本家でお姉たちと一緒に部活大会だったりしてね。
Shion was lying down on the sofa, picturing her sister and her friends fooling around and playing games like they always did.
一応それを疑って本家にも寄らせていただきましたが、
So
いら
this
っし
still
ゃられないようでした。
this still confirms that Mion is standing right in front of us. She's right here. And Shion is not locked inside of a basement. Chained up right now. So this hasn't happened or probably won't happen in this timeline, quote unquote.
ミオンさんもレナさんがお帰りになられないのを心配しておられました。
そうなの？どうしたんだろうね。はって。
めったにないことだろうとは思いますが、たちの悪いのに絡まれたのかもしれません。念のためレナさんを見かけていないかどうか聞き込ませています。
あの子に限っては大丈夫だと思うけどな。何気に強いしね。
それはそうと、私に何の用だったんです？
Kasai took off his jacket. Shion only told him to go see Rena because she heard that Rena had requested to see him in person.
あれ？言わなかったっけ？なんかね、葛西の落とし物を拾ってるらしいよ。お姉が言うには、レナさんそれを直接返したいんだってさ。おうおう、いいね。若い子にモテることで。
堪忍してください。しかしご無事だといいのですが。
Right then, the phone rang. Kasai answered it while loosening his tie.
はい。はい。わかりました。直ちに。
Kasai sounded very serious, and Shion immediately figured out who he was talking to.
誰？お父さん？
はい。レナさんを大至急保護して本家へ護送せよとの園崎本家からの命令です。
鬼ババの直令？レナさん、何をやらかしたんだか。
Onibaba. That's still really funny that she calls her that.
ああ、爪かな。かわいそうに。くわばらくわばら。
Okay. God, Mion doesn't care.
レナがまだ帰ってないって。
Poor girl.
実は聞いた話だと、レナ自宅を出てどこかに雲隠れしてるらしい。
雲隠れ？どういうことだ？
あと、これはさっき入ってきた情報なんだけど、警察が竜宮レナの行方を探してるって。
なんだって？
なんでもレナの家の前にはすでに覆面パトカーが1台張り付いてるらしい。村の中にもすでにサイレンなしのパトカーが数台入り込んでるみたい。あと君吉本家にも警察から電話があって、竜宮レナの所在を至急確認したいので。
ってことはまさか俺たちの隠した死体が見つかったってことが。
We hid them deep in the mountains. They couldn't have found them so easily.
それは 100% ありえない。私が保証するよ。
I guarantee you that. Which means Mion definitely had them moved.
おう、よく 100% なんて言い切れんな。
And also, hey Ugi, thanks for stopping by over on the kick side.
実はね、あの死体、
園崎家の方で秘密の場所に処分させてもらったの。
秘密の場所？
まあ、そこは深く考えない。私たちが埋めたあの山林、
Yeah.
後でよくよく聞いてみたら、今年の夏に大規模な伐採計画があるって分かったの。だからちょっと私の方で手を回させてもらったってわけ。
So yeah, so that thing that you've probably been thinking about this whole time during this whole chapter of like, well, wasn't there going to be an event in the summer to renovate the trees in the area in the mountain and they were going to dig up the corpses? Well, yes. And now we finally found out what happened to them. So they're being moved. Oh, sorry, they were moved by the Sonozaki family.
そっか。なるお前。味方なら頼りになるけど、敵だったら怖いやつだな。
おじさんを誰だと思ってるんだか。
じゃあ死体じゃないよな。一体どうして警察がレナを。
Wait, so they dumped those pieces in the well, didn't they? I'm 99% sure that's where they are.
わからない。北条哲平と間宮里奈が竜宮家を食い物にしようとしてたって話は裏の界隈ではちょっと知られてたらしいんだよ。そっちの角度からレナが浮上したのかもしれない。とにかく容疑者ってわけじゃないみたい。でも重要参考人とかって扱いではあるだろうね。
どっちだって同じだぜ。くそ、せっかくレナは平穏な生活を取り戻したんだぞ。ここで台無しになんかしてたまるか。ミオ、俺たちでなんとかレナをかばおう。
当然だよ。とにかく警察よりも先にレナの身柄を確保するようさっき沖宮の家に伝えた。本家でならレナを 120% 警察から守れる。
レナをかくまうだけじゃ解決にはならないんじゃないのか。レナの嫌疑を何とかしないと。
そこは保護してから考えるよ。アリバイを証明する証人なんかいくらでも作れるし、本家に出入りしてる最高の弁護士もいる。私たちは仲間を絶対に見捨てない。
ああ、そうさ。絶対にレナを守ってやろうな。くそ、俺ができるのはミオンに頼るだけかよ。情けないぜ。
まあまあ、蛇の道は蛇ってことだよ。おじさんの方で手を尽くすからここは任せな。あと村全体で警察の目をごまかすためアリバイを作る。レナがゴグラのあたりで目撃されたことにしよう。警察の目が広域に散ればそれだけ薄くなるはずだよ。
なるほどな。そいつはうまいぜ。
こんなのはダム戦争の頃はお手の物だったよ。絶対にレナをかばいきってみせる。あとケイちゃん、レナはケイちゃんのことは特に信頼してた。だからレナの方からケイちゃんのところに現れる可能性がある。その時にはすぐ保護してあげてほしい。その時は私にもすぐ連絡してね。
I want you to consider everything that Mion just told us. She's willing to throw the cops off of her tail, get the whole village to agree on a specific alibi, and use the best lawyers that they have, if need be, to protect Rena. But they wouldn't do that for Satoshi. She wouldn't do that for Satoshi at all. She wouldn't do that for Satoko. So why now? In other words, this could just be all a ruse. It's just her bluffing, saying whatever to make Keiichi think that she's nice, that she's on his side, whatever. Anyway.
お、わかったぜ。
レナは強い子だからね。きっとこんな苦難も乗り越えてみせるよ。
そうだな。
Hesitated to say something. Rena hadn't been her normal self lately. If she was her normal self, I'd have no doubt that she could overcome this. But Rena is deeply convinced that Takano's delusions are true. Rena believed that the Sonosuke family is behind a conspiracy. I'm not sure if she trusts the Sonosuke family to protect her.
大丈夫だよ。私とレナだって仲間同士なんだからさ。腹を割って話せばすぐに誤解だって分かってくれるよ。ケイちゃんだって私と話して誤解が解けたんでしょ？よくもまあ、あんなとんでも話を信じたもんだよ。
まあな、我ながらよくあんな話を鵜呑みにしたもんだぜ。前原圭一、多分一生の恥だぜ。やれやれ。
I really was deeply convinced until I talked to Mion. Even after the promise of friendship we made, I doubted her. Takano was endowed with magic, and I think the scrapbook she wrote also carried a spell. The scrapbooks can make people go mad. They're forbidden scrapbooks. Nobody was supposed to see them. They're the books you can read in RimWorld Anomaly that like have a chance to give you like a mental break if you read them. Rena is captivated by the power of that magic, even after Takano's death. I have to wake her up. I've got a very bad feeling about it.
ああ、ごめん、来客だわ。なんだか警察っぽいな。じゃあこれで電話を切るね。
お、わかった。
レナは今晩以降、ゴグラのあたりに潜伏してることになってる。警察に何か聞かれても、知りません、会ってませんで通すんだよ。
The other thing is, if they go with this alibi, they're gonna know she's lying. Possibly. Because Oishi knows that Rena, well, is not in Hinamizawa. And that he just called her. So who knows? We'll see. I don't know how far Gogura is from wherever the hell they are right now. But anyway, Mion waited for my answer, then hung up the phone. After she hung up, I slowly started to feel like Rena was being consumed by some huge unthinkable fate. It's not only the police I'm worried about. I'm also worried because Rena is ensnared by the power of Takano's magic. I fear that she might be suffering from an incredible anxiety. Oh right, Rena might be hiding at her secret base in the garbage dump. Rena once told me that— oh no. Rena once told me that she used to spend time there when Rina was at her house. And she told me that she hid her scrapbooks there too. If she's hiding there, she must be hungry by now. I should bring her something to eat. Oh, Keiichi. You trying to be nice. You trying to be such a wonderful, caring friend. You trying all of this is going to result in the death of your close friend. You're going to lead them straight to her, and she is going to be killed. I went to the kitchen to look for some junk food. My mother looked confused.
母さんごめん。ちょっと出かけてくるよ。
こんな時間に？もう遅いからよしなさい。
大切な用事なんだ。すぐ戻るよ。あとそれから、もし俺が留守の間にレナが来るようなことがあったら、それからレナの所在を尋ねる電話が来たら、知らないって言って切っちゃって。
Huh? My mom looked angry that I was leaving the house at so late an hour, but I rushed out of the house before she could say anything. I grabbed a flashlight from the wall of the garage, got on my bicycle, and sped off into the darkness. The moon looked beautiful, but in a creepy way. I feel like something terrible is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I know it's coming. Something is going to happen. The moon, seemingly knowing just what that something will be, looked like it was laughing at us, pacing back and forth in confusion. Damn it. Laugh all you want. Laugh at this funny story as much as you want. I'm not going to laugh. I'm going to fight. I'm going to smash through whatever fate is waiting for us. Rena, I hope you're there. Maybe my bicycle needs some oil. It was making a lousy noise as I pedaled. Damn it, even my bicycle is laughing at us. What a chapter. And remember at the start, just sit back and enjoy the clowns on stage and laugh. Anyway. them. Okay. I think this is an even darker red. Let me just double check real quick. Oh, this definitely is. So just real quick. This is probably the final time I'll do this, because this is probably the final time we'll see this. But so once again, from start to finish, from left to right, up at least until the point where I started counting this. Irena's text used to be a bright pink, like on the far left. Once she started having a mental break, it kind of started changing colors into that second shade of like a slightly darker pink that's more peachy-like. Then, in this past chapter, we had it go into that darker red, that second color. And now it's just red. Or sorry, lighter red. A paler shade of red. Now it's that darker red. Or that solid red. Sorry, it's not dark. It's a very bright, poppy red. So, she's basically losing it at this point, I'm assuming. Either that or she's just getting very tense. Anyway, I finished talking with Oishi on the phone and soon left the phone booth. I realized something and a chill ran through my body. I was in a phone booth that stood out tremendously in the dark. Somebody must have seen me. I was certain I was being watched. I saw glowing eyes staring at me in the dark. It wasn't human. Was it an illusion? No. I knew who they were. They were the ones controlling the three families who ruled Hinamizawa. Its eye level was too low for it to be human, and its outline was vague. I knew from the past records that they were physically frail. If this is some reveal that... How to word it without sounding stupid? If there is some... Okay. If this fucking game is all about giant cicadas controlling a village that they managed to infiltrate with mental parasites, those being their larvas or something, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Because I was actually thinking about something similar to that. It's like, what if when they cry, like they literally mean like the cicadas are, like, it's all been one huge metaphor that those are the parasites. The cicada larvae are parasites because they burrow deep into the earth and they only come out once every now and again to like cry and so on and so forth. You get where I'm going with this. Anyway, the silhouette, which indicated its inhuman appearance, was unbelievably unrealistic, especially its protruding head. One of the scrapbooks I received from Mio described their appearance in detail. Their eyeballs were pure red, like blood, and their bodies smelled like ammonia. Even though some of them have at times been captured around the world, all of them melted or disappeared, leaving no trace behind. The only traces remaining are the marks proving their descent to Earth. Right then, the impossible, unrealistic silhouette took a step closer. Got closer towards me, making a realistic noise as it crunched across the gravel. The noise pulled me back to reality. It kept walking towards me. It sounded like it was kicking pebbles everywhere it walked. It was coming closer and closer. It was scared, so I said the same thing once again. And this time, the glass door of the phone booth I was just in started to rattle and shake. Bang. It made a weird noise as if being struck by something. I screamed loudly in fear and started running. I ran so hard that I felt like my lungs were about to explode, and then I looked back to find that the thing was no longer chasing after me. Was it my imagination? There's no way it was just my imagination. I definitely heard the sound of the gravel being kicked and the phone booth rattling. But I needed to calm down. Right then, I needed to make my heart stop beating so fast. I'd have to fight them eventually. The next time they appeared, I was going to strike back at them. I was going to squash their heads with my big hatchet. I'd protect Hinamizawa. It was my duty to do so. I wouldn't allow them to do whatever they wanted. I saw the lights flickering in my head again. Oh my god. It truly makes you wonder who they are. But let's move on to chapter 11. Even if I turned on the light in my hideout, nobody would see it because of the piles of abandoned cars in the way. While I'm aware of that, I decided not to turn it on just in case. It's a bit scary to hide in this quiet place alone in the dark holding my breath. I'd have to keep myself busy with something. But my brain won't work properly, and I don't even have the energy to think about what to do from now on. However, I don't have the courage to lie down and sleep to regain my strength either. Every time I heard or thought I heard a suspicious sound, I'd gasp and stare into the dark. Oh boy. That's all I did all night. Oishi believes that the Sonosuke family was behind the conspiracy, but he can't do much without solid evidence. For that, he has to locate the facility where they're doing research on the parasite, but we have no idea where it is. I think the idiot clinic is still the most likely site, but I have no credible evidence. Really, I don't think they do their research in a place so obvious even I could guess it. They might be using one of the bomb shelters that was built during the war as some kind of secret underground research center. Now that I come to think about it, I remember a secret building nobody's allowed into on the premises of the Furude Shrine. I think it's called the Ritual Storehouse. According to Mio-san's research, the Furude Shrine is also the center of the local worship of Oyashiro-Sama. The priests kept tools for ceremonies in the Ritual Storehouse. One of the ceremonies is the bizarre festival, Watanagashi, and so the shrine storage must be something very sacred. If I remember right, Watanagashi was also a medical ritual, designed to vaccinate and immunize people against the all-too-strong parasites. That means that the tools they used for Watanagashi were medical ones. If my guess is right, the Ritual Storehouse is the most sacred place in the village, as well as the most appropriate building to use for medical purposes, or torture. It's suspicious. There might be a secret research center in the Ritual Storehouse. Ah, damn it. The police should be performing a raid on the Ritual Storehouse, not Idiot Clinic. Why didn't I think of that when I was talking to Oishi on the phone earlier? I hope Oishi realizes this too. Should I go back to the phone and tell him? But when I thought of that, I heard a car coming closer and I held my breath. It's not normal for a car to come here this late at night. I thought about many possible scenarios which made me nervous. After a while, I saw the headlights of the car near the former dam construction office. The car must have passed by me and gone to the office. But it's a deserted, empty office building. There's nothing there. It's not a place where people visit this late at night. What if they find the extension cord that Irina has in there? While I was staring into the dark, the engine of the car stopped and its headlights were turned off. I could see two flashlights flickering in the darkness. The lights moved into the office building. They must think I'm hiding there. I held my breath and kept watching on their movements. I can't tell who they are, but I bet they're pawns of the Sonosuke family. They know that I ran away from home. They must be looking for me everywhere in the village. Though I needed to conceal my breath, my face started feeling itchy, and I had an urge to scratch my legs. My own body was infuriating me. The humidity made me sweat all over, so the back of my knees and my neck had been itchy for quite a while. Scratching would make an unbelievably loud noise, so I decided not to scratch anymore. It usually doesn't make any noise when I just scratch some mosquito bites. I'm probably just being nervous and overreacting. There's quite the distance between me and them, and I'm in the dark, holding my breath. They wouldn't notice even if I sneezed, let alone scratch myself. But I didn't want to make any noise at all, so I tried to forget the itchiness. But after all that, I ended up scratching everywhere like mad. I have to live in hiding like this for a while. I don't know how long I can go on when I'm so nervous on just the first night. I need to toughen up some more so I can remain placid, even in a situation like this. I forced myself to relax, scratch my neck without hesitation, and try to cope with the sticky sweat all over my body. I started getting hungry. My stomach growled. It's a good sign, though, since it means I'm starting to relax. I can't eat yet, though. It'd make a lot of noise. I decided to wait until they finished looking for me and went away. Go away, go away. I can eat if you go away. It seemed like the intentions I was sending out bore fruit. They had stopped looking around the building. However, I must have concentrated my thoughts too strongly. They were pointing their flashlights in my direction. Did they notice me? No. Not only that, they were walking towards me. I made my body as small as possible and hid under the blanket, and listened for their footsteps as carefully as I could. All the while, I heard their footsteps coming closer and closer. Since the footsteps are coming straight towards me, they must already know where I am, I think. It's scary. But there's no way they already know where I am. If they did, they wouldn't have wasted their time looking for me around the office building, and they wouldn't walk as slowly as they did. It's just a coincidence that they're walking in this direction. Since I'm hiding under the blanket, I can't see who they are. I don't know where they're shining their flashlights, so I can't stick my head out from the window to see who they are either. I just have to stay motionless like a rock until I sense they're gone. They stopped when they came near my hideout. I could hear their conversation.
いねえだろ。
ぐるっと回ってみるが。そっちを見てくれ。
I could tell by the sound of their footsteps that they went separate ways and that each of them is walking around the piles of trash separately. I made this hideout out of an abandoned car. I made this hideout out of an abandoned car. I just redecorated it. So the outside still looks like nothing other than an abandoned car. But once you look inside, you can instantly tell it's more than that. So if they look inside, I'm done for. It's obvious that they're looking for me. Are they a Sonozaki Corps attack unit? If they find me, I'll be killed for sure. I know that all too well. This place is perfect for murdering people. I killed 2 people here myself. If I can do it, there'll be no problem for them, because they're real professional killers. Even so, there's nothing I can do right now. I just have to pray that they'll leave here soon. At that time, I heard a slight beeping sound.
Atsushi です。感度良好。
Atsushi. Have you heard this before? No,
はい。
I don't think so.
ゴグラ？はい。了解です。
どうした？
Gogura?
竜宮レナはゴグラらしい。
Gogura.
目撃情報があったそうだ。
おいおい、お手上げだぜ。どうするんだよ。
とにかく是が非でも捕まえて連れてこいって旦那の命令だ。たとえ行ったのが札幌だろうと博多だろうと追っかけるしかねえだろ。
無理だぜ。見つかるわけねえ。それでも探さなきゃなんねえのか。
旦那は竜宮レナの持つ高野美代のスクラップ帳ってのを欲しがってる。
Oh. So they definitely know.
あんだけの剣幕になるんだから相当のもんだろうぜ。
で、俺たちはどうするんだよ。
竜宮家前に貼り付けだけ残して他は引き上げだそうだ。戻って麦茶でも飲もうぜ。
I heard their footsteps going further, and then I didn't hear them anymore. After a while, I heard the engine of their car starting. I finally got out from under the blanket and looked outside the window. The car made a U-turn and drove away. The sound of the engine faded away into the darkness. I heaved a sigh of relief. I scratched at all of my itchy mosquito bites, wiped the sweat off my face and neck, and finally allowed myself to cough. I heard their conversation clearly. They're the pawns of the Sonozaki Corps, without a doubt. It matches with what Oishi told me. And they said something very important. They clearly said they're after the scrapbooks. Yeah. Up until now, I had only assumed that they were chasing after me because I had Mio-san's scrapbooks. I could have forced myself to believe that it was just my assumption. But they said it loud and clear. We need to find Rena Ryugu. She has Mio Takano's scrapbooks. That's what they said. They also said that they're keeping watch on my house. I'm not surprised. That's exactly what I would do if I were them. I can't go back to my house anymore. It's out of the question. But, in fact, they said something way more important than any of that. They said, Rena Ryugu was seen in Gogura. If I was in a normal situation, I'd probably think that somebody saw a look-alike and I'd laugh out loud. But the situation is different now. Mio was dead, but she was at the festival. I'm here, but I was in Gogura. Oh no! She thinks that one of the doppelgangers is in Gogura. Assuming that, like, doppelgangers are the main theme here. Mio wrote about it in her scrapbooks, and I didn't want to believe it. Oh no! They're coming closer to me, and I don't mean the Sonozaki family. Something beyond common sense is about to happen. So, if this is true, that would explain what happens at the end of Watanagashi to Keiichi. When he's in the bed, after Oishi-san leaves, and he feels Mion's hands, like, come out from underneath the bed that he's laying down in. Or laying in, I mean. And then he sees Mion's corpse rise from underneath his bed. And he kills her. Oh, sorry, she kills him. And now here we have Rena thinking that something similar is happening. Oh boy. Should I fight or should I run? I don't even know what I should do. I feel like I'm rooted in the spot with fear. Am I about to be eaten? No. I don't want to be eaten alive. I want to run away if I can't win. If I can't run, I want to fight. I'm going to be happy. I know I am. I'm not going to sit pretty and let them get me. But the enemy Mio foretold of in the scrapbooks is coming closer to me and it's starting to eat me up. I'm the garbage dump alone. If I disappeared right now without anybody knowing it, the person who was in Gogeta would replace me and start living my life. Nobody would notice the change. My father wouldn't notice, my friends wouldn't notice it. It would replace me without having anyone noticed it. Wait. Many people close to me might have been replaced already. That's right. The Sonosuke family is plotting bioterrorism, but that's only part of what they are planning. Mice possessed by them don't get scared of cats. As a result, they don't run away. They'll be eaten by the cats, and they can move into the cats' bodies. Oh boy. It's still up in the air as to what they are, who they are. But it's so fucking interesting. Mice are only used by them for that purpose. It's not that they lose their fear of cats in order to help... It's not that they lose their fear of cats in order to help them achieve their purpose. The same thing goes with the Sonosuke family. They think they're doing things by their own will, but they're just helping them without realizing it. That's exactly how I've lived since long ago, being the parasite. We're nothing but a bunch of mice to them. Most mice are stupid. They don't even notice their existence. They help them to achieve their purpose, thinking they're living their lives by their own will. But very rarely, a mouse with wits is born. This mouse notices that he's being used, and he also notices their existence. But nobody believes him, so it's not a big deal. He starts thinking that it was his mistake, and he gets swallowed by them. Eventually, he disappears. But even more rarely, a mouse appears from nowhere, notices their existence, and objectively proves it. That mouse was Mio. To them, this mouse was a rare and very dangerous existence. That's why they resorted to unbelievably bold and violent methods to try to eliminate that mouse when it appeared. But surprisingly, we knew about those measures. But the stupid mice don't believe it. They don't notice that they are forcing them to not believe it, and that they're helping them in the end. And also, hey Billy. Yeah, it's very crazy tonight. They killed Mio. And they tried to replace her. But they made a mistake. We found the real corpse of Mio. That's why they failed to replace her. They'll try to kill me and replace me too. That's very interesting. So... Huh. So what could have happened is... Mio had been burned in the mountains the day prior to the Watanagashi. And then whomever they are, replaced Mio and had her body, you know, just appear in the Watanagashi festival with Tomitake and everybody. Maybe? Anyway. Or they'll replace my friends in order to get close to me. They'll just look like real people, but they're totally different inside. They're an abnormal existence that's beyond our imagination. I know, they'll appear. No, they're already here. It's aliens. It appeared the day after Mio died, and it appeared in Gogeta tonight. They'll keep coming. They're openly after me now. They'll keep coming. They'll keep coming. Right then, I heard somebody coming down the slope. I concealed my presence again, and I looked at the direction where the footsteps were coming from. I could see one flashlight. It looked like there was only one person now. Who is it? This late at night. Its shadow is very small. I can tell it isn't an adult. I felt a chill running through my body. It shined the flashlight towards my hideout, and its footsteps were coming straight towards me. It's different from the other guys earlier. I can tell by the sound of the footsteps that it knows I'm hiding here for sure. No. It must be a coincidence. I should just conceal myself again. I can make it through this again. I made it through last time. I need to hide. I need to hide. I pulled a blanket over myself and made myself as small as possible, and kept telling myself that I was a stone. But the footsteps kept coming closer and closer, and it knocked on the door of my hideout. I opened my eyes wide. I broke out in a nervous sweat. Not wanting to believe that the sound I heard was a knock, my mind went completely blank. But it knocked on the door again. I could feel a light shining on the blanket. It might be shining the flashlight on me. But I still held back my fear. As long as I didn't move, it can't put a finger on me. I keep telling myself that as if I was casting a spell. I tried not to shake in fear. It laughed. It has laughed at me because I thought I was still hiding perfectly. But I still tried. Because if I got out of the blanket... Is this Rika? Who is this? Whomst be this? I threw off the blanket and saw the owner of the voice. It is Rika. I knew it. The voice sounded a little too mature, like Rika normally does when it's the other Rika. Now, why is she here? Why did she come to see me? I don't understand why she came all the way out here alone this late at night. I realized all of a sudden. She looks just like Rika on the outside. But she's not her. It is just copying her appearance. It came to me, and to Rika. I decided to talk aggressively on purpose in order to work up the courage before my fear crushed me down.
Rika-chan, kana?
I decided to talk aggressively. Rika, is that you? Okay. It answers just like the Rika I know. But I know it's not Rika. Rika wouldn't come to a place like this so late at night.
わかるよ。リカちゃんじゃないんでしょ。おあいにくだけど、私の目はごまかせないよ。外見がリカちゃんであっても、あんたはリカちゃんじゃない。私の友達のフルでリカじゃない。何者
Rika looked stunned for a while. She looked as if she didn't understand what I was talking about. But she pretended like that for too long. If she really didn't know what I was talking about, she wouldn't be able to stand the silence for this long, but she kept quiet. And she finally showed her true character. It laughed. It laughed at me, because I figured out something that was almost impossible to figure out. That it was not Rika.
あんた、誰
It didn't answer my question. It kept laughing for a while. And then it looked straight into my eyes in a way Rika would never did before. And it said this.
私もこの世に生きて長いけど、
私をリカじゃないと見破ったやつは初めてよ。あなたは勘がいい人だと初対面から思ってたけど、大したものね。
Wait a minute. Okay, I won't mention it, but I just realized something. But I'll talk about it later. I'm so sorry. I hate breaking the tension like this. She clearly spoke to me. She clearly spoke to me the things that I was most afraid of. I was completely shocked. It's like she told me everything that could possibly scare me. I didn't want to hear any more of this. It's something I can't possibly twist in any way I can comprehend.
でもあえてリカだと名乗っておくわ。
What if we have this for a little bit?
私もリカを自分の呼び名だと思ってかなり長いしね。
へえ。長いってどれくらいに？
大したことはないわ。ほんの100年程度よ。
はあ？何を言ってんのあんた。
I'm contradicting myself. I know the person who's standing in front of me isn't Rika, but at the same time I deny its existence. As long as humans hold this kind of emotion, they can never accept unknown existences. In other words, we can never accept them.
怯えなくていいわ。あなたは社内、私は社外。互いに相手に物騒なことをするのは簡単じゃない。お互いに都合のいい距離だと思うけど、私が何百年生きていようとも、フルでリカは所詮小さな子供だもの。あなたに腕力で勝てると思ってないわ。むしろ逆上したあなたに飛びかかられないか不安なのはこっちの方なんだから。
I realized that this creepy thing that looks just like Rika was only here to talk to me. I felt my tension fade away a little bit. But still, I don't know what she wants to talk about at a place like this so late at night. I'm like a fish in a cutting board. Or on a cutting board. There's nothing I can do other than to wait and see what's going to happen. I waited for it to make a move for a while, and then it opened its mouth again.
あなたは何かに怯えている。それは正解。
It uses sarcasm. Rika's cute face looked uglier than ever when it smiled. I held back my fear and tried to reply firmly.
ええ。おかげさまで。
そう。何に怯えているの？
あんたらが一番よくわかっているくせに。
It told me earlier that we were safe from each other because one was in the car and the other was standing outside. But it's obvious that I'm the one who's being driven into a corner. While I'm talking to it, I could be being surrounded by its minions. I got scared and tried to listen to the sounds of my surroundings carefully.
怖がらないで。私はあなたを助けに来たんだから。
助けに？へえ。どうやってかな？
Because do you remember, they mentioned that the Watanagashi was a few days ago. Or I think they said last week. Rika, at least in every single timeline, has died on Satoko's birthday or close to it, which is 2 days after the Watanagashi. It's been at least 3 days, I believe, since Irena stopped showing up at home after disposing of the bodies. So Rika has been alive probably the longest so far, I think. Anyway.
あなたはね、ちょっとしたお薬で楽になるのよ。私はその薬を持ってきたと言ったら、
薬？
It put its hand in its pocket and took out a small case. It opened the case and showed me what was inside. A syringe. What was in there made me gasp in surprise.
注射器。
I knew it. It's not normal for a person to carry around a syringe. I have no idea what's going on, but what Rika is holding in her hand is a syringe. There's no way I can twist that fact around.
So,
is she gonna get closer? Nope, she's already close enough. Hold on. Ugh, this is so vile. Imagine this shit looking at you. God, this is the only thing that would make this game scary. Is if you incredibly frightening. Is if you play with this art style on. Because my God, this is a disgusting, vile, like, doppelganging gremlin that I cannot believe someone approved. Like, someone looked at this from the art team and was like, yeah, this is perfect. This is a perfect depiction of Rika. This is some vile amalgamation of something. It's like if you described what a cute, like, young girl would look like to someone, and then you played the phone game, and then in the middle of it, you were also building the Tower of Babel, and this is what they came up with. Ugh, disgusting creature. Anyway.
あなたを楽にしてくれる注射よ。
楽になれるって私には分かってる。それでしょ。富武さんを殺した薬物の正体は原子の力を持った寄生虫。宇治脇病を再現させる恐ろしい注射。
富武の注射はね。でもこれは違うわよ。本当よ。
It giggled. It isn't the giggling that scares me. I'm scared that it admitted the cause of Tomitake-san's death so easily. And it also admitted the direct cause of the maggot disease that Tomitake died from.
私にもあの死に方をさせるつもりなんでしょ。そしてゴグラに現れたレナが私に入れ替わって一件落着。そういう魂胆なんでしょ。誰がそんな注射をするもんか。
まあ嫌がるとは思った。明らかに怪しいしね。
分かってるじゃないの。ならどうするの？富武さんみたいに集団で襲って無理やり注射でもするの
？Tomitake's autopsy report said that he had bruises on his body that proved he was fighting against several people right before he died. That means they must have ganged up on him and give him the shot against his own will.
無理に襲って注射したいけど、あまりうまくいった試しはないわね。だから無理やりってのはもう諦めてるわ。
Right. And by this she means every single time in the past that she's tried to confront someone and has tried to inject them, she ends up dying. She died when she tried to do it to Mion in the last chapter. She probably died when trying to give it to someone else in chapter 3. My guess being Rena, and then Rena gutted her with the axe that was left behind on the shrine grounds.
だからあなたの自由意志に任せることにする。
ふざけないで。そんな薄気味悪い注射誰が使うものか。
私もそのあたりは悩んだわ。どうなだめすかせばあなた強引にも無理だし理解も得られないし。なら結局私はあなたの判断に任せるほかないってこと。
そんなのは聞くまでもない。誰がそんな見えすいた罠にかかるか。
まあ想定通りの反応よ。どうせ期待してなかったし。
It heaved a heavy sigh, made a gesture as if it was mocking me, and smiled bitterly. It looked as if it was saying that I'm a lower animal that can't understand its being given a chance for salvation. I kind of want to say I'll take the shot on a dare, but I know that's exactly what it is intending to do.
とっとと帰ってお前の仲間に注射には失敗したと伝えるがいい。私は負けない。最後まで徹底的に抗ってやる。そして 1% にも満たないかもしれない勝機をつかんで、必ずや貴様らを打ち滅ぼしてやるから。
そう。ならばせいぜい頑張りなさいな。どうせもうすぐ滅ぶ世界だしね。
滅ぶ？
あなたには関係のないことよ。井戸の中のカエルが井戸の外なんかに興味を持っても仕方ないでしょ。
At this stage of the game, it said something very dubious. I tried hard to understand what this horrifying creature was trying to say.
私をこれからどうするつもりなの？
私はどうもしないわ。好きにすればいい。
え？
It's almost too easy. As far as I know, do whatever you want means ignorance or release when your enemy says it to you. At the very least, it isn't a bad thing. Or does it have another meaning? In that way, I overinterpreted the meaning of the sentence, but then it said it
あ
again.
なたの好きなように過ごせばいい。このリュウグウレナにはもう興味ない。次のリュウグウレナとうまくやれるようにするわ。せめて次のリュウグウレナは変に勘が良くないことを祈るだけよ。
Huh. What a line delivery. So this kind of all but confirms that Rika is basically in a Groundhog Day scenario, where all of these events are happening all the time, and she has to live and suffer through them. She knows her time is nigh, and all she can do now is just wait for it to end and for a new cycle to begin. Scared of it. Like I'd be scared of a judge handing down a death sentence.
私も昔は小さな狂いが生じるたびに直そうと奔走したものだけど、途中からね、このひなみ沢にもう興味ない。次のひなみ沢を探しに行くことにするわ。でもあなたにはこのひなみ沢しかない。だからせいぜい頑張っていきなさいな。
It was telling me scary things one after the other. This was obviously a warning of Hinamizawa's destruction. It means the climax is coming soon. They have already prepared another arena. When I lose to this fate, they are going to replace me with that arena as if nothing happened. They're very well organized. What humans are most afraid of is for their lives to lose all value. Your life becomes worthless when you're told that you have a replacement. It's like an indirect death sentence. It closed the syringe case and put it back into its pocket. It turned around and started climbing up the slope. At the top, it looked back and spoke without as much as an evil smile.
じゃあね。
Is she gonna be further away? No.
さよなら。このリュウグウレナ。次のリュウグウレナでは仲良くしてね。ほとんどの場合は仲良くできてるんだから。
次のリュウグウレナなど許すものか。私は私だ。たった一人だ。お前らの思い通りにはならない。絶対に。絶対に。
I wondered if my scream was reaching it. It looked at me coldly. It looked at me as if I was just an image of the past on a TV
たまに
screen.
はこういう会話も面白いか。
The laughter gradually disappeared into the darkness. It disappeared into the darkness as well. I was the only one left there. Forsaken, and they don't care if I disappear. They told me I should struggle as much as I want because it doesn't matter anyway. They already have a replacement. They don't need me in their Hinamizo anymore because my intuition is too sharp. When I realized that, I noticed that this garbage dump is a perfect grave for me. It was a perfect grave for me. Then I realized that this place won't work as a hideout anymore. I'd better start packing and move somewhere else. It told me to struggle as much as I want. I'm going to do just that, damn it. Damn it! I have to get ready to move out from here. I'm going to put everything back into my backpack and I have to leave here as soon as possible. The light of the flashlight wasn't enough to see by, so I turned the table lamp on. The light made things show up very clearly. When I reached my backpack, I realized something and gasped in surprise. The palm of my hand was covered in an eerie liquid. I thought I wiped off my sticky sweat earlier, but it wasn't my sweat. Then where did this blood come from? I realized it right away. I was scratching the mosquito bites in my neck earlier and I scratched them until it bled. When I noticed that, I remembered the sensation, the mixture of pain and itchiness. I felt something moving near the wound on my neck, so I scratched at it again to get rid of whatever it was. My hand got sticky and wet with blood again. I can't see what the things are because I don't have a mirror. But I know. They're already spreading throughout my entire body, causing the itchiness on my arms and the back of my knees. If I'd never experienced this before, I'd think I got bitten by a bad bug or something. But unfortunately, I already know what's causing this itchiness. I said it with hatred. Why now? Why here? It's the maggot disease without a doubt. If I cut the veins on my arm, the dusky red gross things will flow out. But it's impossible. I didn't get any suspicious shots. But it doesn't have to be a shot. They might have put the drug in my food and I might have eaten it without noticing. I don't think they put it in the food in my house, but I used to share lunch with my friends at school. They might have put it in my lunches. That Rika who visited me just earlier was shining the flashlight on me, so she knew that I was scratching my neck so hard it bled. Nevertheless, she acted like there was nothing wrong, and she told me that I wouldn't last long. Now I know why she was laughing at me in a sarcastic way. She knew that I wouldn't have much time left. It itches very badly, but I can't scratch. The more I scratch, the itchier it gets, and I'm not going to do the same thing Tomitaka did. Damn it. The itchiness might not be temporary. It might actually get worse. I don't know if it's going to stop soon or if I'm going to last until I die from it. I don't know anything anymore. I just have to endure this itchiness. I wiped the blood from my neck with a towel, clenched my teeth, and tried to erase the desire to scratch my neck. The wound was throbbing. I wanted to scratch it so badly, but I couldn't do that. I fought back the desire, biting the end of the towel. I scratched other parts of my body really hard in order to forget about the itchiness on my neck, but it didn't really work. I just prayed for the itchiness to go away, closed my eyes, and fought back the desire. That seemed to be the best way. I let my mind go blank, breathing hard for a while. I felt like the itchiness got a little bit better. I took a deep breath, and I immediately started panicking. Staying here is more dangerous than the itchiness. I have to leave here as soon as possible. I felt it while packing my stuff. I felt the end coming closer. The end that Rika told me about earlier. I assumed I could live until the end, but I might have been wrong. I might follow the same path Tomitaka took, way before the end comes. I was sweating like crazy and I felt so nasty. I know it's not sweat, but I'm going to think that it's sweat for now. I wiped my neck with a towel and hurried to leave. Okay. I was like, no way that's the end. Of course there's gonna be more. So that was the halfway mark. Holy fuck. This area has no streetlights, so I was scared to run fast when I could barely see. The moon lit up the sky but not my steps. The only light I had to see by was my flashlight. The light was very weak. All I could see was the flat gravel road before me. Anything the flashlight couldn't reach was in total darkness. The expression often used in novels is pitch black. The expression often used in novels, pitch black, wouldn't be inappropriate. I might trip over an empty can or a rock any time. Not wanting to fall, I used the flashlight to its maximum extent to watch my step, but I was still a bit nervous. I started running slower and slower until I was just walking by. Walking briskly. Did I just stop running because I'm afraid of tripping in the dark? But I usually run around without watching my step during the day. I run around with Rena and Mion all the time. Even if I can't see what's underfoot, I don't pay attention. I don't think I might trip, I just keep running around without a care. Rena might be feeling the same way I am right now. For Rena, the light with which she illuminates the darkness of suspicion is too weak. And the darkness of the delusion she deeply believes in is getting darker and darker. That's why she's scared to even walk on the same roads she always used to take. She fell for the contents of those ridiculous scrapbooks. People might laugh at her for that. But those scrapbooks aren't normal. They manipulate the reader's heart and with evil intent take advantage of their vulnerabilities. That evil intent captured my heart for one night. That's why I know how evil they are. They're just urban legends, like the prophecies of Nostradamus or the Purple Mirror. Hold on. What is this, real quick? The Japanese Purple Mirror. Let's see, just super quickly. So it's the Murasaki Kagami. So a young girl was hospitalized with immune impairment. Her body was so weak that she spent most of her teens in a hospital bed. For her birthday one year, her parents gave her an extremely cute hand mirror. You might be wondering why it was a hand mirror, but this is a time before Japan experienced rapid economic growth. The girl fell in love with the hand mirror. She looked into it every single day and treated it like a precious object, until one day, for some unknown reason, that girl painted the hand mirror purple. According to her own words, this was because she liked the color purple. Even so, her actions were clearly strange. Suddenly coming back to herself, the girl looked upon the purple mirror and was shocked. She desperately tried to peel the purple paint off, but it was stuck there, and in the end, she couldn't remove it. Her beloved mirror that she received as a present was now purple, and she was unable to use it any longer. Of course, she said that sickness and health start with the mind, and the girl was so shocked by what happened to her, by what happened that her illness worsened right before her eyes. In order to brighten their daughter up again, the girl's parents presented her with another mirror, but she wasn't interested in it. The girls took her last breath while holding the purple mirror, muttering, "Purple mirror, purple mirror." She was 19 years old, only days away from her 20th birthday. The girl's grudge lives on in the words "purple mirror," and children who remember these words will meet an unfortunate fate. Interesting. But once you fall for them, it's hard to get them out of your mind for some reason. It'll be the year 1999 in less than 20 years. Everybody knows about the prophecy that the world will come to an end in July 1999. There are some TV shows about it too, which irresponsibly fan people's fears, so some people take it seriously. Those people think that the prophecy means an outbreak of nuclear war, so some of them are making shelters in their backyards. Some of them are thinking about freezing themselves by 1999 so that they won't be exposed to radiation, only waking up after it's gone. Those people are completely serious about it, but when you think about it rationally, it's impossible that there will be an outbreak of nuclear war in 1999. It's true that the Cold War makes us think that the final war will break out any time, but both powers are actually pointing their nuclear missiles at each other, and they know that there's nothing to gain for either of them to start a nuclear war. The Soviets might still do it. The Soviets would destroy the world if it meant eradicating liberalism. Such a funny fucking line. Holy fucking shit. But that delusion that the Soviets might do it could be neatly swapped for the way Takano uses the Sonosuke family in her scrapbooks. When people create a large-scale delusion like the prophecies above, they always use incomprehensibly unknown enemies such as the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, or aliens. And they say something like, "You never know, they might do things like that," to try to increase the credibility of their delusions without any evidence whatsoever. What did Takano know about the Sonosuke family? Nothing. All she did was use the history of the Onigafuchi and say that the Sonosuke family is still working behind the scenes, plotting a horrifying conspiracy. It's just like one of those large-scale prophecies. It's nothing but a stupid story like that one about Nazi Germany, which says Hitler is still alive and lives in an underground complex somewhere on the South Pole, continuing his plot to conquer the world. Yeah, but see, Keiichi, the thing is that one's real. Like, that's a real thing that's been proven by, you know, it happened in 2014. I'm kidding. Rena usually doesn't believe in stupid stories like that, but it was just bad timing, I suppose. It was right after she killed Rina and Teppei and was caught by us. She was also in a state of panic when she heard the story. We were waiting for her to recover from the shock, but before she did and regained her strength of heart, a poison got into her and spread all throughout her body. When you're sick and have a weakened immune system, it's easy to get another disease just like that. That's it. Rena is just sick right now. When you're very sick, in bed with a high fever, you sometimes feel like you might die from it. But most of the time, you're just overreacting. You get better soon after you take medicine, eat healthy food, and sleep a lot. And that's how she is right now. She caught a mental cold, that's all. She needs to get better soon or she might get caught by the police. I passed several patrol cars on my way. I hid every time I saw one since I didn't want to be questioned. I was probably passed by them twice. When I came close to Rena's house, I saw a car parked near the gate. It was obviously watching her house, trying to capture her when she arrived home. Mion ordered the Sonozuki family to find Rena to protect her from the police, but honestly, I'm not sure if they can. After all, Rena believes that the Sonozuki family is after her. But if they don't find her, the police will eventually. If that happens, all of us who helped her bury the corpses will be caught by the police in the end. I don't know how or why the police came to suspect her. I think they only have some circumstantial evidence. I don't think they know she did it for sure. But since they're looking everywhere for her now, they must have some kind of reliable evidence. Rena, come on. You don't have time to play around with Takano's scrapbook right now. The police are after you. It was so dark that I couldn't be sure if she was down there. But I made up my mind and headed down the slope, carefully shining my flashlight to light my way. I wanted to loudly call out Rena's name, but there might be some policemen nearby looking for her. I walked around the trash pile and then I saw a light. It was Rena. I ran towards her hideout, kicking aside the trash in my way. Rena was standing right in front of her hideout holding a hatchet. I couldn't blame her. She must have noticed all the noise I had made coming down the slope.
レナ、俺だ。
今度は圭一くん。今夜はいろんな人が来る夜だね。
俺以外にも誰かいるのか？
I showed my flashlight around, but I didn't see anybody else.
この場所はもう安全じゃないんで、今から場所を変えるところなの。圭一くんにも知られたくないから、ついてこないで。
レナ、お前どうしたんだよ。その毛が血だらけじゃないか。
もう落ち着いたから大丈夫だよ。もっとも、いつぶり返すかわからないけどね。
Yeah, she's no longer standing with glass eyes, but anyway, or glossed over eyes. Rena's neck was all red. It looked like she had some kind of skin disease on her neck. She probably couldn't bear the itchiness and scratched at it really hard.
拭いただけじゃダメだろ。とりあえず家へ来いよ。ちゃんと消毒した方がいいぞ。
傷口は大したことないよ。それに、これは傷によるものじゃない。もう手遅れだし。
手遅れ？どういうことだよ。
富武さんを死に導いた何かを、私もいつの間にか服毒させられてるみたいなの。注射なんて物騒な方法じゃない。多分それは弁当のおかずに混ぜられてたの。覚えてる？先日みーちゃんが卵焼きを一人一個ずつ分けてくれたよね。あの時にやられたんだと思う。遅効性なところがうまいよね。くそ。
Rena kicked the dirt with hatred. She was almost literally kicking Mion's goodwill to the curb.
レナ、お前本気でミオンがそんなことすると思ってるのか？
Rena looked stunned and she stared straight at me. I noticed a slight accusation in her eyes. I can tell by looking into her eyes that she wants to say, "What are you talking about? I already told you the Sonozuki family is the mastermind behind the
第
conspiracy."
一よ、あの日の卵焼き、ミオは一人に一つずつなんか分けてないだろ。
Mion cut her omelet into 5 pieces and she told us to take one if we wanted. Irena took the end piece of the omelet before anybody else took one. She said it looked cute and ate it right there.
違うよ。みーちゃんは毒が入ってた卵焼きを私にわざと食べさせようとしたんだよ。
レナ、都合よく記憶を書き換えるなよ。タッパーの蓋の上にこうちょんちょんと5つ並べたんじゃないか。
並べてないよ。一人に一つずつ配った。
そんなこと今までにあったか？俺たちは互いの弁当箱を好きにつっつくバイキング形式だぜ。これは誰の分なんてお上品に分けっこしたことなんて一度もねえじゃねえか。
She looked at me with that accusation in her eyes. Terena, everything that comes out of my mouth must sound like a lie. To her, it's a fact that she was poisoned. She knows for sure that the drug was in the omelet. That's why she's contradicting me, because I'm saying something different. I didn't come here to make her mad. I realized that disagreeing would only escalate her anger, so I decided not to.
それよりさ、ここはもう安全な場所じゃないって。どこへ行くつもりだよ。
さあね。適当に探すよ。
Yeah. She said something like, who knows?
寝るところなんてそうそう見つからねえだろ。俺の家に来いよ。
ありがたいけど辞退するね。園崎家の手先が村中を探し回ってる。圭一君が裏切って私を売るとは思いたくないけど、かばいきれるとも思えない。
園崎家の手先が探し回ってるってのは逆だぞ。警察がレナを探し回ってるんだ。
なんで？大石さんは味方だし、私のことは放っておくように言ってある。私を探すなんてありえないよ。
多分リナと鉄平を殺したことがどこかで漏れたんじゃないかと思う。
Oh no.
ああ、そういうことか。
I was relieved that we were finally on the same page, but I realized I was wrong right away when she laughed in self-derision.
どうして警察があの殺しのことを感づいたかわかる？
いや、わかるわけないだろう。
Nobody saw her killing them. Nobody saw us burying the corpses. We buried them deep in the mountains and we camouflaged the spot perfectly. Plus, Mion moved them to a secret place afterwards. So, it's impossible that the corpses would be found.
今日の夕方ね。私、あの二人の死体を埋めた場所に戻ったの。そしたら。
That didn't sound good. Of course. Irena has no idea that Mion took care of the corpses. She'd think the corpses were still buried there.
なかったの。死体が。誰かが掘り返して死体を持ち去った。
Mm.
いや、レナ。それ、
あんな場所、誰かが偶然掘り返すわけもない。それに、あの場所は私が決めた。だからあの場所に埋まっていることは、あの場に居合わせた人間しか知らない。
My friends and I, but anyway.
そうだ。だからそれは。
誰がやったかは分かってる。みーちゃんだよ。私が警察と結託することがないよう、保険が欲しかったに違いない。園崎家に探させるだけじゃなく、警察にも探させるとはね。連中もなりふり構ってられないってことか。
ミオンがそんなことするわけねえだろ。
したんだよ。みーちゃんが私を撃った。
いや、しねえな。ミオンも俺たちもみんな仲間だぞ。たとえ世界が全部敵になったとしたって仲間は最後まで味方なんだ。だからミオンがレナを売ることなんて、海水が全部蒸発するような天変地異があったって絶対にありえない。
みーちゃんの肩をどうして持つの？
逆だろ。なんでミオンをそこまで疑うんだよ。
そんなのは決まってるでしょ。ミオさんの暴いた致命的な事実は狂信者たちの偉大な計画の実現。
黙れ黙れ。あ、ちょっと言葉がきつかったな。いいか、あの死体がなくなっていたのは確かにミオンが掘り返したからだ。
やっぱりそうじゃない。
終わりまで聞けよ。いいか、ミオンが死体を掘り返したのはあの埋めた場所が安全じゃないことが分かったからなんだ。営林署がこの夏あの辺り一帯を伐採するって計画を立ててたことが、だからミオンはレナを守るために死体を掘り返してくれたんだよ。
Rena laughed at me, like I was stupid or something. I could tell she didn't understand anything I was saying.
そんなのみーちゃんの口から出任せに決まってるでしょ。圭一くんの前ではいい子ぶりたいあの子の汚いやり方だって。
She's a dirty bitch.
あのなじゃあどうすりゃよかったんだよ。今年の夏に営林署が見つけちまうかもしれないと知ってて放置しとくのかよ。そんなことできるわけねえだろ。
その営林署の伐採計画というのがそもそもみーちゃんの作り話だってどうしてわからないのかな。
わからねえのはレナの方だろ。
After I yelled at her, she gave me an icy look. She stared into my eyes as if trying to find out what I came here for.
俺はレナの目を覚ましに来たんだ。お前は高野さんのスクラップ帳のせいでとんでもない狂った夢に取りつかれてる。最初のうちは面白い話だと思ってたが、そろそろシャレにならないと思い始めた。お前は今ちょっとした病気なんだよ。
ああ、理科もどきにも病気だって言われたっけね。確かに内脇病はもう始まってるし。
ああ、もう違うんだ違うんだ。とにかく俺の話を聞け。しばらくの間横になってじっくりと休まねえか。本当はミオンの家にかくまってもらった方が安全なんだ。警察からもかくまえるしな。でもそれでもミオンが信用できないってんなら俺の家でもいい。とにかくこんな休めない場所で縮こまってだって心にいいわけがないんだ。まずは俺の家に行こう。そして冷たい飲み物でも飲みながらちょいと熱を冷ましてみないか。そうすりゃレナもすぐに気づくさ。
何を言ってるの圭一くん。私がおかしくなってるって言いたいの？おかしいのはお前たちの方なんだ。お前たちは寄生虫に乗っ取られて知らず知らずのうちに奴らに操られているだけ。圭一くんも傍観者のつもりでいるけど実は被害者の一人なんだよ。それに気づけないのが彼らの狡猾なところ。それを私は責めない。私がきっと圭一くんたちを救ってあげるから今は私を信じていて。
おかしいのはお前たちの方って。じゃあレナは村が丸ごとおかしくて自分だけが正しいっていうのかよ。
ひなみ沢だけじゃないかもしれないね。もはや奴らの魔種は獅子骨死全域。あるいはでも私だけは正しいの。ミオさんのスクラップのおかげでそれに気づけた。圭一くんだって気づけたんじゃなかったっけ？
待てよレナ。なあ待てよレナ。自分以外世界中が全ておかしいって。それおかしいのは自分だけなんだよ。世界は最初から何も変わってねえしおかしくもなんともない。ましてやレナの敵でもなんでもない。自分だけが正しくて世界が全部敵なんてことはありえないんだよ。それはつまり自分だけが敵ってことなんだよ。
かわいそうな圭一くん。でも仕方がないよ。ミオさんの真実は誰もが受け入れられるものではない。ミオさん自身この内容が本当に真実かまだ測りかねていた節があったしね。だから圭一くんが受け入れられないことを私は理解できる。 だから、そんな圭一君を救うために私は頑張るよ。頑張って戦って、必ず圭一君たちを支配している奴らをやっつけてやるから。
Anna, that's stupid. It's just idiotic. You feel sorry for me? You're stupid. Why don't you understand? Why do you still believe a crazy, stupid story like this? You're just interpreting everything to suit your
ミ
convenience.
オさんもリカちゃんも、そして今や私も、もうそして私が消されるのと同時に入れ替わることになっている。
はあスペア？お前本気で何を言ってるんだ？
もういいや。圭一君には真実を教えてあげよう。私が圭一君に話してない。実はね、寄生虫の正体は宇宙人なの。
I knew it was going to go this route.
宇宙人？
うん。お社様の正体ももちろん宇宙人。天から降臨する際の描写は世界各地に散らばる宇宙人説と合致するの。偉大な文明が起こるとき、偉人は必ず宇宙から現れる。彼らは宇宙から優れた英知を持って地球を訪れ、いつまでも未熟な地球人類の進化を促そうと。
Hey, wait a minute. You must be kidding, right? Anna? The parasite theory was interesting, but aliens? Come on, that's just nonsense. But Rena believes this theory so seriously. She feels so sorry for me because I just can't accept it.
奴らは人体規制を通じてコミュニティを支配してきた。だが時折勘のいい人間が生まれ、その支配の実態を暴こうとした。彼らはそれを取り除き、コミュニティを維持するために様々な拉致を行ったの。そして時には金属片を埋め込みそのコントロールを得たり、あるいは外見だけを共有した別の存在と入れ替えることによって支配を続け、そいつらはミオさんのコピーを生み、私のコピーを生んだ。
Wait, hold on. And put a piece of metal in their bodies to gain control over them. What does she mean by that? Where did that come from?
リカちゃんのコピーもさっき来たんだよ。そいつと話をしてみた。そいつは宇宙から来た存在であることを認めたよ。そして破滅の日が近いことを告白し、私にあがけるものならあがけと嘲笑った。
Okay, now here's where Irena's kind of being a little crazy because Erika never said she came from space. Specifically. She just said she's not from here or that she's been around too long or something. Anyway.
私は戦うよ。人類を奴らの家畜になどしてたまるか。私は絶対に
You're so stupid. I stepped towards Rena and slapped her in the face. I was hoping it would return her to sanity.
目を覚ませ。
And also, hey Moon, thanks for stopping by. Feliz jueves.
レナ、もう忘れたか。まさにこの場所だ。それもほんの数日前だ。俺たち仲間たちはこの場所で全員で、そして仲間は家族同然だって認め合ったよな。
Rena played with her wrist. She didn't interrupt, so I continued.
お前の言う宇宙人が地球を侵略してるって話を、たとえ世界中が信じなくても俺は信じてやる。俺はお前の仲間で一番最初の味方だからだ。でもならお前も聞いてくれ。 仲間で味方の俺の言葉を聞いてくれ。あの高野さんのスクラップ帳はでっち上げのインチキなんだよ。本当さ、高野さんはオカルトマニアなんだ。ひなみ沢の古い歴史をいろいろに解釈して遊んで、陳説を書き上げては人に読ませて回っているだけなんだ。だから寄生虫がどうのこうのという説以外にも UFO がどうこうとか地底人がどうこうなんていうとんでもないのまでたくさんあるんだ。だからレナが読んだスクラップ帳は高野さん自慢の最新作でしかないんだよ。ほら、あの人って人をからかうみたいなところがあるだろう。レナが真面目に話を聞いてくれるもんだから面白がってとんでもない話を吹き込んだだけなんだよ。
単なる創作ならミオさんはどうして殺されたの？しかも検視結果では死後24時間のはずなのに、どうして祭りの夜に歩いていたの？富武さんの死因は？園崎家は？ひなみ沢の伝説は？お社様は？リカちゃんは？全部創作？世界中が私たちを騙すために嘘をついているって、そういうの？
And yeah, Feliz Jueves again. You can redeem that infinitely, basically.
何でもかんでも無理につなげて解釈するな。古代妄想の典型的な症例じゃねえかよ。とにかく難しく考えるな。レナはちょっと疲れてるだけなんだ。だから少し休もう。俺はレナにくつろげる部屋と布団、食事を提供するだけだ。食事が信用できないなら自前で好きにしてくれたっていい。とにかく俺の言うことを今だけでいいから信じてほしいんだ。
私の言っている話の方が筋も通っているし、なのに圭一君は自分を信じてくれの一点張り。どっちが正しいかなんて明白でしょ？
ああ、明白だな。俺だ。俺が正しい。
よくそんなことを言い切れるね。
ああ、そんなの俺がレナの仲間だからだ。仲間は絶対に裏切らない。仲間を絶対に助ける。だから世界中が俺を正しくないと言っても、今だけ俺がお前の仲間だからなんだ。
Heard a thud. Irena dropped the hatchet. She staggered, holding her head in her hands. She was muttering something, and it looked like she was asking herself questions. He wants me to trust him, but he has no evidence to prove he's right. He's being absurd. Or maybe he's right and I'm wrong. Am I really just misunderstanding everything? It would be wonderful if that was true. I wish I was wrong so many times. I wish Mio-san's scrapbook are nothing but a bunch of stories and the parasites don't exist. Some coincidences happened to connect together, and I interpreted them in the wrong way. I really wish that was the case. And don't give up, Irena. Be cool. And give me one more second. Just want to double check one quick thing. I don't believe so, but okay. Yeah, the text is still the same red that we've seen before. This guy has poison in his words. He's trying to take advantage of my weakness. Everything is too obvious not to believe. It's obvious that the aliens have been trying to invade the Earth, using this village as their base ever since it was called Onigafchi. Keiichi is a victim who's being controlled by them. He's just a victim. But when he grabbed my wrist really hard on that day, I could tell his intentions were true. I still remember the strength of his grip on my wrist. He tried to save me, his friend. I got lost in this crazy delusional maze many times. I prayed over and over that somebody would help me. And now my prayers are answered and Keiichi is reaching for my hand again. But don't forget, Rena. This guy says he's your friend, but he hasn't told you everything about himself. Don't you remember? Oishi told you about it. He told me about what he found out. I couldn't trust my friends, so Oishi checked on everybody, including Keiichi. That's why I know about what he did before he moved here. What? He looks like he's a good guy on the outside, but he's crazy on the inside. I can't trust him. I shouldn't trust him. So what? I don't care who he was before he moved in here. or he moved here. I did many bad things in Ibaraki too. I did many unforgivable things. I hurt my friends really badly, broke the windows at the school, and was suspended. I was a very bad girl. Did he treat me differently because of that? No, he didn't. Reina Ryugu is Reina Ryugu. He'll forgive me because it was Reina Ryugu who did all those bad things in Ibaraki. He won't forgive me. I should know better. Keiichi Maebara believes that I'm a kind and modest girl because he doesn't know Reina. If he found out about Reina, what would he do? He wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't be scared of me. Reina is Reina. Reina is a different girl. The same goes with Keiichi. I don't care who he was before he moved here, or even.
大丈夫か、レナ。
That little mental struggle that she just had was very relevant to something that's going on in my life right now with somebody that I know. Where I feel like maybe if they if they read this or if they saw this one scene or heard it, that maybe it would affect them. They would kind of realize that they're maybe going through something similar. Where, well, I won't explain it. It's just exactly what happened to Rena. But anyway.
触るな、汚らわしい。
Rena knocked my hand aside when I reached for her.
さっきから聞いていれば仲間とやかましい。
Although, of course, I mean just that one isolated scene, not everything that's about to happen.
仲間だから信じろ？仲間だから世界中すべてより正しいだと？それこそ妄言じゃないか。
なんと言われたって俺はお前の仲間だ。だから絶対にお前のためになることを言っている。疑うな。絶対に俺が正しい。
へえ。
She's much closer. I fucking knew it. Eh?
じゃあ聞いてもいい？
あ、何でも聞け。
仲間ってのは隠し事なんてないんだよね。
当然だ。隠し事なんかしない。
嘘だよ。
嘘なんかつかない。
嘘だ。
嘘だ。
何がおかしいよ。
圭一くん、隠し通せてるつもりなんだ。
Nobody clip that. It's stupid.
私知ってるんだよ。圭一くんが引っ越してくる直前にどういうことしてたか知ってるんだよ。
I felt as if my entire body was covered in frosty needles. My body and mind froze all of a sudden. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. How come she knows about that?
大石さんに調べてもらったんだよ。みんなのこと。そしたら圭一くん、引っ越しの前はとんでもない人だったんだよね。
やめろ。あれは違うんだ。
ずいぶん悪いことしてたみたいだね。
No. No. Keiichi. You could... No.
さとこちゃんとリカちゃんにも話しておかないとね。こんな危ない人が身近にいたなんて信じられないよ。
違う。それはたまたまなんだ。
児童連続襲撃事件。すごいすごい。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件に負けないくらいインパクトあるよ。
Oh my god, Keiichi, what the fuck did you do?
違うんだよ。あれは 本当に。
何がどう違うの？数週間の間に人気のないところを歩く小さな子供ばかりを狙って通りがかりにモデルガンで撃ちつける恐ろしい事件だった。
It's still bad, but I thought it was gonna be worse. Oh, fuck.
市内一帯は一時期騒然。PTA が交差点ごとに立ち、集団下校にもなったんだってね。目に当たって大怪我した子もいたんでしょ？幸い後遺症にはならなかったそうだけど。モデルガンなんて武器を持ちながら、それでも小さな子しか狙わないいやらしさ。
モデルガン。
そんなことして何が楽しかったの？でも楽しかったからずっと続けてたんだよね。そのくせ途中で両親の呵責に耐えられなくなってご両親と一緒に自首。責任取るのもご両親と一緒じゃないとダメなわけ？少年法って親切よね。被害者にも犯人の名前は公開されないし、お父さんが大金持ちだったから示談金をたくさん積んでくれたんだよね。それで大ごとにしない約束を取り付けて、まったりとしばらくは保護観察。それでほとぼりが冷めた頃合いにお金に任せて遠方へ引っ越しして全部チャラ。いいね、お金持ちは。
違うんだ、違うんだ。
そんなことどうして今まで黙ってたの？前の学校ではずっと勉強漬けだった？どうしてそんな嘘をつくの？
ごめん、嘘ってわけじゃ。
仲間ってのは隠し事なんかなしでしょ？そうでしょ？じゃあお前は仲間じゃない。
The blades of her words hit hard, and they made my eyes bleed. The blood was clear and it tasted salty.
私も過去の事件からお前が怪しいと思ってる。それを隠しきれてると思わないで。
I remember how deeply I regretted it. I couldn't regret enough. I wanted to forget it. But I couldn't. I made a stupid mistake. Why? Why does she have to bring it up right now? I apologized and accepted everything, and I moved here to put it behind me. I wanted to have a fresh start in Hinamizawa. I swore to myself to live a clean life from then on. Everything is ruined now. I'll be a criminal, no matter where I go. I was stressed out with my exam studies. I was frustrated. I randomly shot people. I didn't care if it was girls or kids. Why did I do something so stupid? There was no reason. I had no reason to do that. I just wanted to get someone's attention. I didn't have the courage to tell my parents that I didn't want to study. I just wanted somebody to scold me, so I used a childish way to get attention. I regret what I did. I swear I'll never do something that stupid again. If I do it again, they can send me to the chair. If there was something I could do to be completely forgiven, I'd do it no matter what it was. But no matter how deeply I regret it, no matter how long I atone for my sins, I'll never be forgiven. That's why I wanted to sweep the whole thing under the carpet and have a fresh start. I have nothing to say if somebody tells me that forgetting my sin is an act of cowardice. Sins are sins. You can't just get rid of them. You have to carry them for the rest of your life. I know that's the fate of a sinner. If you don't want to live like that, don't be a sinner. I understand that logic too. But then, how are sinners supposed to live?
とにかくお前は仲間じゃない。仲間じゃないやつの指図は受ける言われはない。私のことは当分放っておいてもらう。いいね。
I didn't notice until she spoke that I was on my knees hanging my head. Then I picked up the hatchet she dropped earlier. I wanted her to hit my head with it. Yeah, that's right. If anything's gonna be torn apart, I'd rather it be my body. Compared to the pain of my heart being torn to shreds, I'd rather she cut my head off. I believed it. I still believed it. I still believed it right at this moment. I believed that I'm their friend. But in fact, I'm starting to become aware of it. I want to believe I'm their friend because I don't want to accept my past. I'm trying to tell myself that, but I feel stupid crying like this. My face is all messy with tears. I was never their friend. I'm a sinner. And I hid my past from them. I hid it because I was scared. I told her that friends don't hide anything from another, and I hid my past from them. I hid my sin from them. My past has nothing to do with how I live my life here. If I ever attacked a kid in this village just because I was frustrated, I wouldn't mind if they killed me and cut me into pieces. But I'll never do anything like that again. I just want to live normally. What I did before I moved here has nothing to do with my life now. For instance, Elena moved here too. I wouldn't change the way I see her. Even if I found out she did something bad before she moved here, right? I wouldn't, would I? Even if Elena beat some of her friends or broke all of her windows of her school, I wouldn't care because it happened in Ibaraki. What a very specific scenario to ponder, Keiichi. Like, incredibly specific. She didn't do that in Hinamizawa. Rena is Rena. She's my best friend. That's why I wouldn't see her differently, even if I found out about her past. A lie. It's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Keep a distance from her if I found out that she really did such things. I'd be scared of her. I wouldn't try to listen to her. Why? It's just a rumor. Why would I be scared of her? She's my best friend. If I was in her situation, would I reject her just like I did? So, Rena's rejection of me was completely natural. Then what am I supposed to do? I was the only one crying. Rena wasn't crying. She looked at me as if she was looking at something dirty. After giving me a nasty look, she disappeared into the darkness. Rena didn't forgive me. There was nothing I could do to atone for my sin but to keep crying. Still down on my knees. Oh boy, what a fucking chapter, dude. The reason we moved to Hinamizawa. Alright, let's go and quickly look at it. We've never seen this background before. That, like, field. And that's a different... No, it's the same image. Anyway, the reason why we moved to Hinamizawa. I don't remember how many years ago it was. There was this beautiful village surrounded by nature. But the village was going to be submerged in water because of a new dam project, and the villagers protested against it en masse. They held a sightseeing tour so people from other places could enjoy the local beauty. I joined the tour out of simple curiosity. I wanted to take a look at the nature that might sink under the water. But when I got there, the place took my breath away. The air was so clean and clear, and the landscape was beautiful beyond words. Since then, I was hooked on the inspiring nature of the place. I fell in love with the village so much that I was very glad when I heard the dam project was cancelled. That village is where I'm building our new house. When I visited there, I found a beautiful field of wild flowers. I saw two cute girls playing in that field. Both of them were very beautiful, with long, straight hair. They were probably neighbors or best friends. I still remember how they looked. One of them had a very beautiful face with a clear-cut profile for her age. The other had a very pretty, innocent look. I'm sure both of them will grow up into fine, beautiful ladies in the future. They were running around in the field like they were dancing. I asked them if the field was their playground. They said they were playing in hopes that newcomers would move to the village. Then I saw a sign saying lot for sale. That was when I began to think that it might be a great place to live. There was nothing here, and things are a bit inconvenient compared to the life in the city. But I sincerely believe this was the best place for us to start a new life together as a family. A lot of things happened back in the city, but the past is the past. It's best that we move on. We learned from our mistakes, and I hope we can start a new, more ideal life in this village. Keiichi, I hope you'll grow to love it here as much as I do. You do? I'm happy to hear that. I'm also happy that we've been doing a lot better as a family since we moved here. Back in the city, we were far from close, so I'm truly happy that we're able to start from scratch. Now that I come to think about it, I've never had a chance to have a conversation with you like this before. Oh, Keiichi, do you know any two beautiful girls with long straight hair in your school? I think they're a lot younger than you. Oh, you know two young beautiful girls, but one has short hair, huh? I don't think they're the ones I saw. You want to know why I asked? Well, I just wanted to ask them to be models for my portraits. I was thinking about making them wear cute costumes. But basically, I just wanted to see them again for artistic reasons. So if you happen to see them, let your dad know, okay? Aha. Artistic reasons, huh? Promise me, okay? It makes you wonder who he's specifically referring to. If it was... I assume maybe, like, Rika, and maybe, like, another version of Rika. Maybe he saw both of them? I don't know. But, we'll find out more about what's going on next time. For now, let's go ahead and end things here. And let's swap on over to the ending screen.